Just waiting for it, and I'll just mute it. Yeah, my background's on, baby. Okay. I've got me seven rules of life. People, last time someone was saying this, they can't see it. You know, they wanted to see what the 7 rules are. Can you? I mean, I suppose you'd be able to see them because I'm on speaker view, so you'll be able to read them.
Yeah.
They're straightforward enough. If I move over here, yeah, if I move over here, people can see them. So I'll be able to read them right then. Make peace with your past. What other people think of you is none of your business, basically. I can't read, it's a bit too blurry for me on the, what's it? But anyway, yeah, the straightforward rules. It's just pretty obvious, really. So let me just make this to public. And I shall share this on Anthony's. Share it on Anthony's.
While you're on, Andy, and you're speaking, and those who are listening, we are trying to make these short Facebook videos with Anthony every once a week at least. So it's live, it's there, you know. Exactly. And I firmly believe these senior people committing my business senior office, they're the ones we ought to call out, because we are definitely seeing them disappearing like mad. They're just disappearing. Now, I've got their manager address. I've had it confirmed yesterday that the person who's in charge of the magistrate court, who's called the head of legal operations for the magistrate court in London, he's now in hiding, McAllister. And I'm going to go down to the office. Now I've got the address. I have to go in there. We want about 3 or 4 people there, turning up and calling him out, because these are crimes. And
have you managed to track down McAllister then?
I have, yeah.
You've actually managed to, because I mean, honestly, I think that he must be on virtually everybody's
and everybody since 2014.
Yeah.
So anyone you've come across, Andy, and they've had it, because as I said, everyone in the London region, because he's head of legal operation allegedly, we have tracked him down. And we're going to go there, Petit France, or there's another house in Holborn, which is the Met Police head office, legal services. He's either one of them, a bit like the police now. They operate twin boroughs in, like, for instance, our borough is Redbridge. So Redbridge is now twinned, the Metropolitan Borough is now twinned with Havering. But what the actual borough commanders do, they switch between the 2 boroughs. Like, for instance, sometimes they're in Romford, another time they're in Elford. Romford's Essex, which is Havering. So if you go to Haringey and Enfield, Simon Quick will switch between Haringey and Enfield. You go between Edmonton and Tottenham. So I don't know what the purpose of that is. And now Stephen Tucker with the gang stalking, he's in Chingford, which is Waltham Forest, and he's also in Forest Gate, which is Newham, because they're twin boroughs, the Metropolitan Police. So we have to track these people down. So I've actually reassured that he's definitely there at one of those establishments, either Petit France, I can't remember the address in Holborn for now, but we will go there to both establishments until they answer. These are crimes. People have to stand up.
Absolutely. I mean, and there's a lot more and more, and that's it. The more people stand up, the more people are going to stand up, because they're showing 100%. Everyone that's standing up, yeah, you're putting the energy out there to give the other people that are shy or scared, or, you know, you're just giving them the strength to stand up. So it's beautiful. Just to let Leona know, like, yeah, we're live, by the way, Leona, just so you know. I didn't know if anyone's coming. Right, yeah. So James says hello to everybody, by the way.
Hello.
Hi, James.
Hi, James. James there?
He's watching on Facebook. Yeah.
Okay. So if, for argument's sake, Leone, everybody who's had dealing with the magistrate court in London area region is McAllister from 24. So we need to go and come together and go to the office. I have the office address, CPS, Rebecca Lawrence.
Would that be seen as a protest?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It's people. It's a people. Yeah, it's the thing. It's individuals, because each individual is an individual case. Yeah, as an individual. I don't like using the word individual, but each man and woman out there individually have been a victim of this, and that's right. And that's the point. Yeah, this is all personage. Tariq's here as well. Hi, Tariq. I've sent the email out, by the way, Tariq. I sent the email if you want to pop in. Hope everything's still okay with yourself. So yeah, I mean, ultimately, I mean, it is personage. I mean, I was, in fact, yeah, let me just share a screen because it might, hopefully it might, I'm going to share it because I think it's pretty good. I think it's just sort of something that I wrote out earlier, just to show people what, how to look at it, you know, how I look at it, right? So this is the basics here, right? So just something, I'll leave this here. I'm sure someone can improve on this, yeah? But who is the person? Answer, the person is, I put down as Mr. John Henry Doe, that could be Mr. Andrew Devine, could be Mr. George Carter, yeah? What is the person? Answer, the person is the corporation, and then I should put implied trust. So trust, yeah? So where is there a person? Why is there a person? Answer, so that the corporation can contract with the corporation meaning the person, the corporation that created it, so that they can contract, because corporations cannot contract with a living man or woman. And a trust is to pay the bills for the agent and beneficiary while here on earth. That's what the trust was there for. It was to pay all our bills. They was all to be paid off by that trust. So who created the person? Answer, the Crown and the Vatican Corporation. Who created John Henry full colon, Joe? The reason with the full colon there is that stipulates it separates you from the name, because the living man or woman, which would be the mum and dad of John Henry, would have only called him John Henry. The Doe is the family name or the house name, yeah? So Doe, so it separates John Henry from Doe. So just so people realize why there's a full colon in there, in my simple layman's terms. So who created John Henry full colon Doe is a living man or woman, his mother and father. What is John Henry full colon Doe? Answer, the living man, living crown agent and beneficiary of the person, Mr. John Henry Doe, which is what was created by the corporation, yeah. So who is the controller of the person, Mr. John Henry Doe? Answer, the man, or woman should put, and living crown agent, this is the crown, we are living, and we are the agent, and the beneficiary is John Henry Doe, which is John Henry full colon Doe, which is the living man, yeah? When he or she reaches the age of maturity. Now, the age of maturity, basically what they stated was 18, wasn't it? When you're of the mind, when you're realizing, when you're not being deceived anymore, because they put that person onto you, and then they gave you the documents to go and use, but they did state that the birth certificate is not you and shouldn't be used as a form of identity. Yet you had to use it to make a driving license, a passport, so on and so forth. And that's what they've used to identify you. But that isn't you. That's your person. And that's the trickery. That's the mind game that's been played on us all. So what acts, statutes, rules and regulations or contractual agreements are applicable to Mr. John Henry Doe, all capitals, the person? Answer, those that John Henry full colon Doe has agreed to, or has been tricked into and not challenged, therefore tacitly agreeing to them. So if you have no contracts, Mr. John Henry Doe, Mr. Andrew Devine has got no contract with no living man or woman or any other corporation, because I'm the controller of it, I'm the agent for it, and I can simply state, yeah, that Mr. Andrew Devine has got no contract with anybody, and as the agent of Mr. Andrew Devine, yeah, I ask for Andrew Devine, for and on behalf of Andrew Devine, yeah, for anybody to provide the physical and material evidence of a contract, which is a consent to be governed form, for them to enforce any acts, statutes, rules, or regulations upon that person, because that person does not. None of those acts or statutes apply to that person because it's got no contract with them. And it certainly couldn't apply to me because I'm only a living man, and only law can apply to me, meaning there has to be a corpus delicti. In other words, there has to be a body of evidence. There has to be a victim that I've caused harm, loss, or injury to, because that's the only thing that matters in law. Yeah. So, number 9, where were the men and women, our mums and dads, why were the men and women, our mums and dads, not told that they have a person and that there is a person created for their kin, their children, their flesh and blood, their offspring, whatever you want to call it, yeah? Answer, so that it can be salvaged by the criminals in public office. That's as much as I can tell you, because nobody has been invited into these court buildings. It's the person that gets invited into the building. Therefore, yeah, it isn't you, the flesh or blood man or woman, that had a person created for and that's being invited to the court. It's the person.
Fiction.
Yeah, and you're going in there as the agent, just like the Baron David Ward did back in 2013. And he simply asked, as the Attorney General or agent, whichever it be, whatever you want to look at it, yeah. So as the agent of the Mr. David Ward, he required from them the consent to be governed form, but not just for himself, not just for Mr. David Ward. He didn't just want the consent to be governed form for Mr. David Ward. He also asked for the 63.5 million in Great Britain, all the people, yeah, in Great Britain. He needed to see all of their consent to be governed forms that they've signed with wet ink, yeah, on a consent to be governed form for there to be any governed people in the UK, in Great Britain, in England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales. Because if there isn't no consent to be governed form, as Theresa May pointed out very clearly to the world, that the people, yeah, are governed by consent. And if they've not given that consent, therefore none of their acts, statutes, rules or regulations can therefore apply to them, which is what the courts gave up. The courts put their hands up to David. Yeah, they put their hands up and said, no contest. Now, the point is, people will say, that's not case law because it wasn't a case. Well, listen, no fact will ever be heard or tried in a court of law. They won't allow the facts out, because if the facts come out, the fiction goes away. Like Puff the Magic Dragon, just like John Winnow was showing, by bringing back, taking the ship back and showing where the fraud started, where it all corrupted, and it would all go away. And that's what John was trying to say. He was trying to bring back everything that had been stolen off the people and give it back to the people. Yeah, that was so. Anyway, there's my little input on that.
Brilliant.
I mean, I hope that tries to make people, you understand that you've got a person, guys. Stop. If you don't use it, somebody else is going to use it, and that's what they're using, because you're not controlling it. So you can't control it as it, because it hasn't got a voice. The person is a corporation. It's a dead entity. So there's a living you and a dead you. The all capitals you is dead, but the living you must speak up for it as the agent to give it a voice. That's what I'm saying. That's what we're saying. And this is how, this is how you can get heard, because they can't hear a living man, because only a corporation can deal with a corporation. So you use your corporation. You use your corporation and you give it a voice and you speak for it as the agent, because the agent can't get done. Just as solicitors, when solicitors go into a court and they represent somebody, they represent somebody else's somebody else's person, because it's their person that was taken into the court. And if they can't stand up and and as the agent for their person, they'll go and get a solicitor, because this is what they want you to do, because now you give the power of attorney over to the solicitor that is now going to represent your legal fiction, your person. And the lawyers, the judges and all this lot all work in one little hood, yeah, one little click, and they get told what to do, and they do what the judge tells them, not what you now tell them to do, because you've given full power of attorney over to him. This is the importance why you would never have a lawyer, because lawyers are liars, solicitors are soliciting prostitutes, and that's what they are. That's as simple as I can give it.
Just touch another thing, Andy, just briefly before we go on. Have we got is anyone aware of the actual background regarding the gentleman who was repossessed? His property was repossessed, and
Robert White.
Yeah. What is it? Is it because the police brought the prosecution because 3 years later, but he's got his property back, I believe. Yeah, he's in the house. Does anyone know? I
don't know, but I'm sure people in the chat will be able to say.
Yeah, he has been in the property for the last couple of years.
Yeah. Oh, he has. Okay, so
yeah. From my understanding of that, from what I saw of it, and I haven't had time really to look really into it, but from what my understanding is they cut a compromise, didn't they? The judge was held up because at the end of the day, the warrant, as we know, isn't a lawful warrant. And dare say, just like everything else, nothing's been created lawfully. No due process has been followed, and the procedures have all been breached for them to be created. So they're null and void, just pieces of paper. But rather than the judge call out that, because therefore that would call out the whole game, and it would destroy them all. What the judge did was he picked up on some words that was written on that piece of paper, stating that the warrant did not allow them entry. Therefore, he said that therefore the police didn't enter with the authority. Therefore, there was an intruder, and the man could use any reasonable force to defend his castle. So that's my grounds and understanding exactly what was done. However, it was a cop out to me, because it was a cop out. But we're getting that one step further. I mean, we've null and voided the warrant now anyway, because as you know, if they don't go in, if they can't get in with a warrant, they would have to take that warrant and go into the court and get criminally wise. That you didn't
criminalized, okay.
Yeah, get it criminalized. But the point is, therefore, they would have to take that warrant in there. But remember, the warrant is only a piece of paper. It's not a warrant. They're saying it's a warrant, but realistically, it's only a piece of paper. Just like what you used on Tariq. It's just a piece of paper. But the police, because they're just compartmentalized, they just do as they're told. The police tell him that he's breached an order, yet it's just a piece of paper. So there's no order that Tariq breached. It's just a piece of paper with warrant written on it.
Who was the sheriff?
Who was the? Yeah, I mean, that is interesting. I don't know.
I'd like to know more about that.
Yeah, I heard that. That was in the beginning bit where the lady that was saying about it said that there was on the first day, I think it was, there was a guy that was sat next to the judge who was a something sheriff, something, I forget what it was. But
I think he talks a little bit about it on Michael Obenisha's channel.
Does he? Okay.
I think so.
But yeah, I mean, whoever that was, and also I when I heard her speaking about it, she said that there was 5 people that came in that were suspect that were sitting in the audience, in the public gallery. And she said they were all quiet and just taking notes. So whether well, it sounds like, and I'm going on the optimistic and promising side of it, that they were auditors of some form that was going in there to see that court operated with some respect, if nothing else. Even though they didn't point out the vital fact that which is what Anthony, yourself, and everybody else is saying, that all of this paperwork is just paperwork. It has zero authority of the court. So, but rather than focus on those obvious things that they should focus on, they focused on the fact that there was it said on that piece of paper that they wasn't allowed to enter. You know what I mean? So therefore they did them for they did them for no different than anybody else just breaking into the house as an intruder. So the man had every right to, as the castle doctrine stands, which it still does stand as far as I'm concerned, it will never go away. The highest authority of the land is your right to self-defense. You know? And if someone's doing something, regardless, whatever they've got, a piece of paper does not make them have the authority. A piece of paper is just a piece of paper. It has to be official and authentic, and due process, and no procedures have been breached. Otherwise, it's just a piece of paper. As you know, any error on a document, as Royal Courts of Justice themselves states it's not legally, it's void. It's null and void. It's void. So all those warrants, as far as I'm concerned, because I have not seen one yet. I haven't seen one that's got a case management file for its generation to create a lawful warrant. So therefore, all these warrants have been created, and it's clear when you start to see the fact that it wasn't the man, it was the person. It wasn't the man or woman, but they're attacking you as the person. So that means they are not in the sound mind. And if you say, I mean, look, George, look what happened to you. They tried to make you be the person. They tried to make you be the all capitals George Carter. You said you was George, yeah? You was there to represent, or you was there to be as the agent for the George Carter, which is what you should be doing. This is correct to be doing, because that's what it is. You're the living man. That person was created for you, and you're the beneficiary of it. That trust that they're trying to create a constructive trust to take over. So you stood there as the man, and what did they do? They put an arrest warrant out on you for failing to attend. This is the hypocrisy. And that's why I said, you know, those police that arrested you and took you in for failing to attend something that you was never told about. And if you hadn't have phoned up seeking your case management files, you would have never have found out about that there was something going on. And because you found out about it, you went in, and you went in there to speak for George Carter, and then you got arrested for failing to attend. And those police arrested you. Now, come on, guys, you police out there, come on. You know now you need to go and get some serious help, yeah? Because you've fell for the trap. Just because George was realising, he's now realised, and we've all fell for the trap, by the way, because that's why I went to prison for my person. They put my person in prison, and they took me as with it. You know, but this is how crazy. This was years ago. That was just because I didn't realise at the time. I was older than 18, so I was mature, but not mature in the mind enough to understand how I was deceived. You know. So yeah.
But he did say though, Andy, just on another point, guys, the judge Paul McGuigan, I forget his last name. Paul Donegan did say that he's the resident district judge there, said, I failed to identify myself. He arrested me and I failed to identify. He actually said that. We said, hang on, who did you arrest? And that's the reason. Not only did I fail to I failed to identify myself. So that term, he then determined, because I failed to identify myself, it means I failed to appear and arrest me. So, you know, as you said, poppycock. It means I failed to appear. Guys, so, you know, as you said, poppycock.
It's beyond the joke.
Guys, so, you know, as you said, poppycock.
It's beyond the. Hang on, it's my. I've just got the other one on because my the comments weren't coming up on my other one, so I opened up another page so I can see my comments.
Sorry, can I just touch on another couple of the people in the group? People like Kelly. Anything back from Kelly? Everything we heard? Anything?
Karen's gone. Karen, if you talk about Karen and Kelly, yeah.
Karen and Kelly, yeah, the daughter.
Karen and Kelly, yeah. Karen the mother, Kelly the daughter. I was meant to speak with her money, but obviously she's still busy. I mean, I know that she's spending a lot of time now with her daughter.
Oh.
And I know that she's been trying to get her daughter help because, I mean, her daughter's been institutionalized since 2 years of age. And she's gone through hell with what the social workers have done to her. She's suffered. Well, I nearly said suffered then. She's been put through hell and tortured all the way through that with what they're doing. And and as a child, as a baby, when she was born, her feet were out, and they did a lot of things on her to straighten her legs out and all this. And she was without painkillers, and she was in a lot of torture. So she's got, from what trauma. I can see, there's a lot of trauma in this young girl. And they wouldn't give her any help in any way, shape, or form. These socials, they want her gone because she's witnessed too many things inside that organisation, and that's why they won't let go of this nonsense of a doll's order, which doesn't exist. So basically, I believe that Karen, when she got a chance, when there was out, she got to take her into another doctor, and they're pushing to get Kelly help because of whatever. I don't know exactly what it is. I'm not really spoken what it is, but whether it's medication or counselling or whatever it be for the help that she needs, because she's not in any way, shape, or form crazy in the mindset of that, but she's self-harming. And she goes into rages and starts hitting her up because of what the trauma that she's had to go through. And they won't give her in any way, shape, any help or anything. So Karen's, when she's had her out and had meetings with her, and I believe there's other social workers within that situation that now have seen exactly what's been going through and what's been going on, because obviously the manager she had a burst out. She was taken off the case. They brought new people in there because of what was going on. So there's a lot of things been going on that we don't know about. That's been going on behind the scenes, and now she's got a lot more compassionate people that are actually caring and trying to help her. So she hasn't really had time or anything else to do anything at the moment. But it's as though like they want her back with them as soon as possible. But obviously the powers that be within that, they're not wanting to release that. Again, it's like everything else. Like I keep saying, people, it's a lot easier to not get into trouble than it is to get out of trouble when you're in it. In other words, when they've taken your child, that means if they give your child back, that means they've got to, one, pay recompense and do things back as well. But not only that, they've got to admit that they was wrong. And when you're pointing out why they was wrong, because of what's gone through with yourself, George, with what Tariq's gone through, with what Jason's gone through, with what anybody that's been taken to these alleged courts, have gone through, when you realise the fact, like what Anthony's been pushing all this time, because we want to make it like a PPI, just like a payback, because once they prove that there's no case management file, we know that it's never a court, and no one's going to find a case file. And everybody needs being. Everyone's got to be paid for the damages that there's been done, because the people have been hurt. The people of this country, the people of England, have been put through this torture, and it is torture. I've witnessed it myself. That's why I do what I do. These people have been put through all this, and the fight to get these. I mean, this is the thing. How can I forgive these people? If they're not going to admit that they did wrong. You can't forgive them until they. I mean, I'm compassionate. I'll forgive anybody. I've had to, because I had to forgive myself when I woke. So I can't forgive these people. So they're unforgivable because they're not even admitting they're doing the wrong, and they're blatant. They know damn well they're doing wrong. They laugh in your face. They don't care. There is zero care in these people. So they make it very easy. But I'm not here to. End of the day, mate, they're going to have to live with what they've done. They just need taken out of the way. They're public hazards, and they're hurting the people. And children, and everything else. They've got to be removed. And as people, it's up to us. As the men and women of this world, we are the government. They are the governed. They are the servants, and we, the people, must stand up and hold them accountable. And I'm seeing them more and more, and it's beautiful.
100%. Just one thing, Andy, to interrupt you. Please tell Karen that help is down there in near, I think it's about 40 miles from her in Wales. If she needs to talk to these people, a guy down there, a good guy down in Weymouth, what's the town now? Anyway, she said he's 40 miles away from where she is. And he can, if she ever needs to, please, just let her know that we are thinking about her all the time. And Kelly.
Yeah, I will do. Yeah.
Wow.
I know. I should probably hear this anyway.
I hope she does. And, I can give her the contact number, address. If she feels she wants to talk or meet, discuss with Kelly and Karen, it'd be good. What about Ashley in Nottingham? Anything?
I mean, Ashley, but as far as I'm aware, is no news is good news. So, Ashley was off being Ashley again. So she was happy. She was free. They released her. That was a big shock. I mean, I would imagine she's still waiting for her data subject access request, because we've got the lies of what they've done to her, so we can expose all that. I mean, there is contradiction. I mean, the point is, there's no excuse for lying. The police have lied, blatantly lied. They've blatantly breached their procedures to do what they did to her, and it's a fact. And they've lied. And they've lied to me. I've got that recording, so they've lied. So we've got them. Once the body cams, I'll come back. So what she wants to do from that position onwards is down to Ashley. But as far as I'm concerned, Ashley's she's free from all this. It's as though it never happened. But the point is, she did put in a complaint, and they came back with lies, because they made out to the fact. They said, because what her two points was one was that you arrested me inside the house, and you had no authority to do that. And they said that they arrested her with a 136 and a 13. They came back, and in their answer they said 136, and they slipped in 135, under the 135. But the 135, a section 135, has to be generated and created with inside a magistrate's court.
Mm.
Yep, that means that they can enter a property to arrest you. So it had to, just like they did with Carol Woods, which they didn't because it was never even created in a court, because it was just the Freemasons within Lancashire County Council. Again, so therefore, they didn't have a 135, so they had a 136, and they could only arrest them outside the building with a 136, but they went into a house and arrested her. So that was the one trickery and how they tried to use word trickery. And the second point was what the other point that she made out was that they stole her phone when she told them not to take the phone. The phone was on her bedside cabinet. She told them the phone was in the room, and she told them to leave it in the room. And the police came back and said the phone was on her, and the phone wasn't on her. So they used it again. There's just trickery of words of how to get out of it. But anyway, put that to one side.
Okay.
You then put in the data subject access requests for the body cams and so on and so forth, because they still stipulated there was only 3 people arrested and there was 4. So who's the 4th one they're hiding? As well as all the rest of the information that's going to come out on that. So there's Ashley. Who else is there? Sean. They're just still going ahead with the nonsense on Sean. I haven't spoken to Sean since I last did that video with myself, Sean, and Anthony. The last time I heard something from Sean was when Sean phoned up the Freemasons, the Master Mage, well, the hall.
The lodge.
The hall. And she reported what those people, i.e. Watkins, Watkins, what's his name? Miles Watkins, the judge. There was all of I forget the names that was in her case. I'm not very good at names.
Wild Blood and
who? Wild Blood, yeah.
Cope, someone called Cope, I think.
Yeah. But anyway, they're doing an investigation. Did you see the letter that scam letter that somebody had sent her?
Yeah.
Claiming to be a bishop. No, sorry, Archdeacon. Archdeacon.
Yeah, I've seen it, yeah.
Have you not seen it? Did you not see that? Did you not see that? I'll have a look
from an archdeacon.
Yeah, alleged to be from an archdeacon. It wasn't from an archdeacon. It was a joke. It was a joke letter, but it's not funny. You know what I mean? I'll show you. I'll show you the email. I'll show you the letter. Sorry, it was posted. I saw the envelope as well. So it was posted to her. Wow. But yeah, I mean, it was absolutely disgusting. We did a breakdown on it. And we showed you who the man that they claimed who it was. It was the Bishop of Bath, or whatever it was, the baby-eating Bishop from Bath that was on Lord Blackadder.
Lord Black what?
Lord Blackadder. Remember the series Blackadder?
Oh, Blackadder, yeah. Blackadder. Yeah.
So there's the here's the letter. So share screen. So here you go. This is it. This is the letter that somebody, even on letterhead.
Sorry, Andy. Jason, could you mute, please? We can hear you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, so this was the letter that some sick individuals sent her. So it's from Bath and Wells Multi-Academy Trust. So it's their letterhead. So someone's copied all this because she's contacted them and they said they've denied all knowledge of this letter and the whoever the name is that's written it. So I won't go through what it says, but basically you can imagine they're just trying to terrorise her and get into her head. And it's from Archdeacon Honourable Ronald Lacey, right? And if you want to know who he is, let me see if I can. Which way? That's who he is.
Oh dear.
Right.
Raiders of the Lost.
And he's also plays the part as the Bishop of Bath, which is that's the email. This is the Bishop of Bath and Wells. Bishop of Bath and Wells, baby eating Bishop of Bath and Wells, Ronald Lacey. So that's who there was taking the mickey out of it. Yeah. Wow. So there you go. So that's that was Sean's. But she's, I mean, like I say, when she showed it me, I just went straight into it. we broke down who it was. We knew it was just a joke. So it's like everything else, yeah. Any people that are going to use bad stuff against us, will just shine the light on it, show it for what it is, and
Yeah.
make more of, you know. So the worse they are, the brighter the light's going to shine on all of what they're doing, like what they're doing to Tariq right now. You know, I mean, that to me is beyond a physical joke now. I cannot believe the people in Great Britain, yeah, in England, that I've put that video out. I don't know how many people out of those people have actually phoned up Surrey police and said, what the hell are you doing? You've got a man wanted when he's got the evidence that that order could never have been created. You've been told, yeah, that if you produce that warrant, he'll hand himself in. Yet you're sending thugs around his house, around his family's house. You're still sending thugs around there searching for him. Yet he's just simply asked you is show the warrant and he'll hand himself in. And you're spending all our taxpayers' money on these people to go around and do this. It's crazy. I can't believe there's not a massive uproar, because that's it, proven. Sorry, police, you scum. You're the lowest of the low. Absolutely disgusting. Just on the mere factor of whether or not, just the simple factor, hand that order over, Tariq will hand himself in. How stupid are you? It's crazy. And the people are not, that's what I mean. The more people start to see this, I'm hoping they're going to start rising up.
But Andy, if I may say this though, I think I'm trying to, because I think when I spoke to you some months ago, you said calling out these people, they're like misogynists. They don't, it's not that. It's when corruption is left unchecked, that is what happened. Because it's almost like to them, they're doing the right thing. How can you, because he's so successful over the years and years of sending out fake warrant, which is not a court warrant, it's not from a magistrate or county court, it's just, so they're so used to doing it. So it's like second nature. And I just look at some of them sometimes and I'm thinking, I'm chasing Stephen McAllister. He is the head of...
You're muted.
Of the magistrate court in London. This man has sent out hundreds of thousands of fake letters bearing warrants, these fines, and yet when you chase them up and say, where are you? Show yourself, you've committed crime, malfeasance in high office. They're hiding even more and still continue with it.
Yeah.
So it's almost, it beggars belief that these guys are not more than scumbag devils.
You know what? Yeah. You know what? When I did my own, when I stopped work and had the time to go and sit down and do my research, I did the research on cancer, went into the pharmaceutical industry, and when I saw what I saw, I had no option but to do what I was doing. Now to go and learn, now to go and learn about law, learn about all this, what's going on in the world. The people that I learned from were not victims. I know they said victims again. People that were being tortured by the system and that didn't sit down and take it. And they stood up and they stood up for it. People like David Woodmiller doing what he did, you know, and all these other people, yeah, that I learned from because they stood up. So those people that stood up showed me how to stand up and do what I'm doing and gave me the knowledge that they gained from fighting, not giving in. And so what I'm trying to say here is they're, in a sick way, what they're doing to us is that they're forcing you to wake up. They're forcing everybody to wake up. They're not telling you. They want you to find it out for yourself, the obvious, i.e. being the agent for the person, because none of this, guys, has been done on any people. It's been done on people, but only because they bonded the person to the man or woman or the child. And that's what's been done. That's personage. We know what it is. It's human trafficking. And that's exactly what they're doing. But they can only do it with your consent. In other words, either you know what to do, yeah, because I mean, consent, which as far as I'm concerned, consent has to be given freely and knowingly. Yeah. You have to know that you're giving consent, but they don't give a damn. They'll take it off you because you don't know how to say no, or you don't know how to stand up and be the agent for the person. So they'll just keep attacking your person. And if you keep answering for it, then they'll keep pulling you in as it. That's it. But when the people stand up and see this for what it truly is, you know, this world's a beautiful place, mate. We can make this world a heaven. you know, and these people that have done all this, you know, they've got to live with that. That's not our problem, you know. I mean, I know when I woke up, yeah, and I realized the things that I was doing, like I say, that the big one was because I remember holding my son. I remember holding him while the doctor injected him. Nothing happened to him physically that I can see. There's no physical harm or anything, but I know in my heart, because I understood what the pharmaceutical industry is, I knew now what I'd done to my son, and fuck, I wanted to kill myself. I seriously hated myself. I cried and cried and cried. Yeah, so I know, yeah, no one can hurt me more than I can hurt myself. And those people out there that are doing what they're doing to the people, my brothers and sisters, you people out there, what they're doing to you right now, mark my words. As I told John Patterson, the wood chipper is too quick. When they wake up to realize what they've been doing, mate, yeah, they will have their own, that's them. They will have to live with that. People say, no, they won't care. Fuck off. I say bollocks to you. You cannot get away from your own mind. And when you're conscious of what you've done, mate, you will have to face that. You know, that's it, simple as. So, you know what I mean? I hope they can. I mean, the thing is, yeah, you'd have to take away all the tools for them to kill themselves, because you wouldn't need to kill them when they realise. And when everyone stands up and opens up and sees them for what they are, they can't hide anymore. And that's what's happening right now. The people are waking up, they're seeing it.
I think without a doubt, and the exposure is going to be a big thing, and it's for the people. I mean, I'm hearing that the former chief constable, Leicester, killed himself today. 55-year-old guy went and hung himself in his house. Exactly. And I'm thinking, but how many times has that happened? Because this guy, the longest serving chief constable in England. And today we told he went home, did his shift, and hung himself. You know,
that's what I say. No one can hurt you more than you can hurt yourself. When them police back in 1995, right? I told you the police wanted me to work for them. They said you'll be set you free and all. Listen, you don't understand, do you? Nobody can hurt me more than I can hurt myself. And when I leave here, all I can take with me is my memories. And I ain't taking no fucking way. I'm not going away from here as no scummy grasser. I mean, by the way, let's just point out, yeah, because I understand what a grasser is. A grasser, right? To listen to the people out there, because you need to understand this, what a grasser is. If you're telling me that anybody that tells a policeman is a grasser, you're a complete incompetent moron. Okay? Because at the end of the day, if you saw my son being hurt and you didn't report it to me or the police, you were as equal to the man that hurt my child. So aggressor is this, and I'll tell you, it's very clear and very simple. Aggressor is somebody who is in trouble and who puts glasses on, tells on somebody else to get himself out of trouble. Okay? Right? Anybody else is just being an honest and genuine person, which they should be, is if they see a wrong, they should do whatever it is in their power or means. And if that means that all they can do is tell you because they're scared of, because they're too big enough, so go and tell someone. So that's the difference. I'm not talking about, because stuff this grassing like, I'm sick of people saying that, because oh, it's grass and all this stuff. Because I used to be in that world, and they always all talk about grasses, mate. No, that's not a grasser. A grasser is somebody that's in trouble already, and that's what they wanted me to become. They wanted me because I was in trouble. They like in that aspect, because they'd captured my person and I wasn't aware of what I was doing, and they wanted me to carry on doing everything that they was going to stick me in prison for. They wanted me to carry on doing what I was doing, and they would have guaranteed my protection, because the reason I went in there to find this out was to find out whether or not there was drug dealers out there that was being protected by the police. I can 100% from my heart, from first-hand experience, guarantee to you out there, people, that there are people out there selling drugs because the police are protecting them. 100%, because I would have been one if I'd have took the deal. Fact. And I speak that firsthand. I know that. And those police that knew it, because they tried to get me to work for him, one of them, I'd got into their heads. One of the DS that was trying to give it me, he left the force, because I got into their heads, because I told him they were a bunch of hypocritical arseholes, because cannabis is not a drug. So anyway, but then that's my point to that scenario. So yeah, I mean, there's, like I say, there's going to be a lot of suicides. When these people
I think it's inevitable. I think what we are finding now is 20 years of total disrespect by the local authority and the police. You know, this little enclave, there's only Marcel and I here. And I'm telling you, there's about 400 or 500 people, and they all know what's going on. I'm telling you, Andrew, what you saw in that video, what Andrew said, the guy downstairs was a convicted pedophile. I don't know if you know the Carl Beach story where Metropolitan covered up and used Carl Beach to, the police used him as a bait, but really he was a pedophile himself. I'm telling you, on June last year, 2021, the 30th of June, the police moved out Greg Woods from 2 Beechwood Park and put him in a safe house. Now, all the other traveling community, they used to harass me because I wrote to speak about prostitution, child trafficking in this little neighborhood. My sign has gone up out there saying police malpractice and giving the borough commander's name, Stephen Clayman, Jason Gwillam. None of them, their name is on the board out on my tree outside there. So they're saying I must take my camera down because I'm committing a criminal behavior order. I said to myself, what? What people is, it's going to be a telltale sign for people whether they're prepared to be a wimp or stand up and challenge these people because they got no power. Judge Denham don't have any power last when he put me in the cell. He's just as you said, he's just a scumbag, a dirtbag, sitting there telling me that I haven't identified myself.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing is, this is what I'm trying to say. It's the minions. It's the minions.
Yeah.
They are incompetent morons. Like they don't even know it because they think they're clever because they've been compartmentalized. They've been told what to do, and that's all they know what to do is what they're told. They're just order followers. These people that order followers, they haven't got a moral compass. Yeah. Let me stop you for a second there. Oh, hang on. They wouldn't be given the order to go and jump off a bridge or run in front of a train, would they? Oh, they have got something there. But oh no, I mean, like Tariq and Surrey police harassed my uncle again 2 days ago. You know, why can't you just go and look for the order, Mr. Policeman? Yeah, why don't you just go and look for an order? That one that doesn't exist, the one that you said that he's breached. Yeah, so you go around and harassing his family. It's disgusting. Why are you not enraged, England people? You know, people of England, why are you not enraged? Why are you not all on that phone and making that phone line so hot that it's melting? Why are you not making them bring forth this alleged stalking order that doesn't exist? And even if it does exist, then you'd know damn well that it's a crime because you've got the evidence of the crime because it can't have existed because he's got the fact that it was no further action was being taken. So
I tell you why people won't get up and be enraged about this criminal action by the Metropolitan Police and other police constabulary in this country because it's not happening to them. There is not one.
And they're drinking too much fluoride water.
What was the old saying? Like, first they came for, then they came for,
then they came for
me, and there was nobody left to stand up for me. You people better stand up, and you better stand up quick. And remember, when you're standing up in numbers, you're safe. The safety is in the numbers. The more people that stand up, the safer the people are going to be. That's all. And we only have to stand up, and we're not being violent. We're not here. We just want to be made certain. We want to see the facts. Enough of this fiction, enough of your nonsense. Show me the facts. Show the evidence. Where's the case management for all these people that you've claimed to taken to in a court? You show us the evidence that it is a court. You show us the evidence there is an actual claim by a living man that's signed under the penalty of perjury that's made any claim to be a court, for him to even been invited into a court. And why can't you speak to the man if it is a man that's taking a man to a court? Because it's not the man, is it? We know what the game is. It's just corporation to corporation. It's just administration. And it's crazy. Yeah.
These people are actually terrorists.
Terrorists.
They're not the worst of criminals. Actually, they are terrorists. They are.
Yeah. As the great late Baron David Ward stated, they are belligerent terrorists. 100%. And they can't deny the fact because
as long as that British flag's on the land, the pirates will always be here.
And yeah, bear in mind, guys, the courts. They're not courts, they're foreign vessels in dry dock. And who was being brought in there? The dead that are lost at sea in their stupid little, in their stupid little maritime game. That's all it is, because they created the person that would be lost dead at sea after 7 years and therefore salvageable. And that's all it is. They're taking their in and salvaging the trust. That's it. And the sickness of it is they're making you pay for it, because they're making you become trustee of it. They want you to name it. You're the slave boy. This is the name I gave you. You're this.
Wow.
No, I'm not. Yes, you are. Arrest him. He's not attended. He's failed to attend the court. It's a joke. It is a joke, they are mentally impaired. They need the FEMA camps that they was trying to bring on all those people. Those FEMA camps need filling in, and they need taking all of those police into those FEMA camps and re-educating them to understand what the difference is between a constable and what an officer is, what a person is and what a man is, because all of their acts and statutes only applies to the person. None of their acts or statutes apply to a man. It's in their own words. They always have to call you a person.
I think, Andy, when I don't want to have this conversation, I think, and from what I've seen in the short period of my life, when you come across people, this area that I deal with, finance, and we see things. And when I see someone like Jason and he's recounting what's happened to Leanne, if that doesn't touch you, I honestly believe you've lost your humanity, because it's impossible for it not to touch you, not in a way that you go off handy, but I'm saying you can identify where Jason is. And I'm thinking, is this real? So these people, I think, other than being controlled by demons and demonic people, you have to, because if you lose that, I think some of these have lost their humanity. Hence why this guy today, I read part of the background to why he killed himself. They didn't say why. When you get to a stage, the only thing you can see out is suicide. Top yourself.
Well,
what is it? You can't see that you're doing it to another human being.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Forrest Gump said it clearly, didn't he? Stupid does what stupid does. What's evil? What is evil? What if you're a stupid and you think what you're doing is right to do, but somebody that can see what it really truly is evil, to the person that's stupid, it's not evil. So what's evil? The evil is stupid does what stupid does. The police, until you can get them conscious and understanding and knowing what it is, the difference between the two. I mean, why is there a police constable? What on police? Why is there what's the difference between a police constable and a police officer? Do you please understand what the difference is? Why do you swear on an oath, ultimately to God, to protect and serve the people? Yeah, you're not doing that as a police officer, are you? That's strictly with persons. That's strictly persons. You're just dealing with corporation in an office. That's why you're an officer. And it's so simple when you see it for what it really is. And the police said they don't want to be called constables, but you're constables. That's what you want. That's what you're meant to be there for. That's why they're getting rid of you all. That's why we're getting rid of it. We want people. What are police constables? Police constables, right? Yeah, are men and women in a suit. Every man and woman out there, you are police constables realistically, because you're the ones that should be standing up right now. The only difference is you haven't got a suit on, but you can arrest them. They call it citizen's arrest. But it doesn't really matter. You're still a man arresting these people. You can hold these people, and you can hold these policemen as a constable under their oath, under the Nolan principles, and under the penalty of perjury to do their duty when you've arrested somebody, especially if you've got them, because they're all got. And if we all stood up, it would be so simple. That's what it is. What was it, Eminem's song? The real Slim Shady. Well, the real Slim Shady, please stand up. Please stand up. The good man that's inside, the good woman that's inside every one of you out there, stand up. Don't be scared. Please stand up and unite with all the rest of the good, real Slim Shadys, and let's get this job done. Because these people that think they're government, they're not. They're the governed. They're the ones that have signed. They're the ones that stand that all these acts, statutes, and rules and regulations apply to, not we the people, not we the men and women. And we the men and women should be doing our duty. We've been asleep at the wheel far too long. Let's please stand up and let's hold them to account. That's all it takes. All it would take is for the people to stand up and see it for what it really is. Yeah. Nothing can stop the Great Awakening. Exactly. And nothing's going to stop. It's going to happen, you know, and those people that don't wake up and stand up, you're going to be seen for what you are, because remember, there's evil done by doing something and not doing something when you know you should.
When you should.
And you people know it, really. You know you should. Lose the fear, guys, because stand up. Because when you stand up in numbers, mate, you're done. We've won. We've won. You know, we've won. That's it. That's all it takes. And then these police, and because they remember they're insured. They're insured, guys. You know, you're all very rich, guys. You've been abused far, far too long. I don't think any of this abuse has not affected any one of you out there.
Yeah.
And every one of you, yeah, be it whether it's people that are past, you know, your mums and dads that have been abused and had things stolen from, and all these things, yeah. There's no time limit on fraud. No, there's no time limit on what they've done to the people, and you should all be recompensed for the damage that's been done to us all, everyone. You know, and it's not about money. It's nothing about money, because money's nothing. Money's just a belief system, the same as the government. Money's got as much value as the government's got authority. Zero. It's your belief that they've got authority that gives it them. You are the government. They are the governed. Stop it. It's reverse psychology on you, on all of us. We've all had that reverse psychology on us. And once we stop it and realize it and revert it back to being the government with compassion, we need that compassion, because you better be forgiving, because you're going to have to forgive yourself. Believe me, you're going to have to forgive yourself too. So compassion is going to have to be within that remit of the correcting of this system.
Can I just ask Jason if is any development on Jason? Is anything on your with your young daughter and that? Anything, Jason?
No, not really. I had a letter from the council, from the social. Well, it's a joke letter with a photocopied signature on it. You've seen it, Andrew. The courts won't speak to me. When I ring the court, I'd say, "Hello, it's Jason." He says goodbye and hung the phone up.
Yeah.
So now I've got the insurance policy for the council. I've got the insurance policy for the doctor that vaccinated my daughter. So I'm going to drag them into it, hopefully.
There's no hopefully about it.
Not hopefully, yeah, I am.
You know, basically, I mean, from what I got from what Jay is hesitant. You know, let's say more speed should be, because at the end of the day, he just wanted a bit of help on how to fill in the form to, you know, because you don't need any more evidence. You've got the evidence. You know? You don't need any more evidence. You've got the evidence. So it's a simple, straightforward claim against the council and all of them actually for what they've done. You know, against their insurance companies. You've got the insurance company details for the council. So you should have it in. You should have it in. They're not going to. I mean, the way I see it, I mean, roll it on, because if they don't bring it to court, then it's a claim to court, because now you're taking the claim of the. Now you're taking it, making it, and creating a court case against the insurance company for not paying you out. And the insurance company, you've got it. They're going to now bring you out. That means you're going to take your evidence. It's the Trojan horse, like James was kept saying. How do we get our evidence into a court? You know, how do we get the evidence into a court? You know, the David Ward one, what did they do? Put their hands up and run away. There was Simon Muller. Simon Muller was in court on the 24th of March. He went in court, tried to present the affidavit. His affidavit, he created his own affidavit. They wouldn't take his affidavit off him. He went in there and demanded that they give him the letters patent to prove their authority of this court. And they ran out. They ran out of the building. And Simon Muller stated, "This court, I am the highest authority of this court. This case is dismissed." And he's walked away. And they've not come for him in any way, shape, or form. So what it is we're just making if you want to walk in, you make a complete mockery, or you expose it for what it is, which is a complete mockery. You're not making a complete mockery of it. You're exposing it for what the complete mockery it is. And that's all it is. And that's all they are. They can't challenge the facts. They're all fiction. They've got no authority. Yeah. He abandoned ship. Yeah. He abandoned ship. He is the highest author. Simon just shouts that I am the highest authority of this, and I am here now dismissing his case. And Reg was there as well. And Reg was, I don't know, you've probably heard Reg because he was on here last week. That's when it was, wasn't it? Yeah, so Reg was here last week because he was still pumped up from the adrenaline of being in those situations. And that's the thing. That's those buildings themselves are designed to pump up your adrenaline. When you go into those court buildings, they are designed in a way, and the way they all act in that place, act being the most preferential word of that whole situation, is the way they all act in those buildings, what they call courts, which are just ships, foreign vessels in dry dock. They're designed to pump your adrenaline up so that your mouth will run too quick and say something wrong so they can catch you out, because it's just a game and the game's vocabulary. And that's the whole point of it, you know. But the more people show this, and like Jason's put his recording out there. You can listen to Jason's recording. It's on my YouTube channel. Go and have a listen to what it says. You can see the complete mockery of these creatures. That is probably one for the better word.
I think we could do another video. We could do another video with some more recordings.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do a premiere one night.
Yeah, exactly, mate.
People will just see how they treat you.
Well, I mean, that's it. I mean, people, do you know what people used to say to me ages ago? It's like, God, paedophile, there's loads more paedophiles than anything else, isn't it? So no, absolutely not. They've always been about, and they've always will be. Do you know why there's more about now? It's just that people have had enough, and there's people now brave enough to speak up and shout out about it. They've been silenced for long enough. Instead, they went to the police, which the police were complete gatekeepers for it, and silenced and shut them up. Now people are going out and they're telling it out to the people, because this is the audience. This is where it's going to now. This is to you, the people. You make the decisions on whether I'm talking crap or not. You make the decisions on what you demand that, if what you're saying is true, then prove those points. I mean, they're there. I've put them out already previously in the videos. We've shown you. We've called out Surrey police, what they've been doing to Reed. We've called out the police with Karen's case. We've called out the courts. We've called them all out. They're all liars. We've got the court under perjury. She said it was a lawful and legal right, and then she said that that was all the Dole's orders. We'd still got other ones with different case numbers on it, ones with boy written on it, one with girl written on it. See, ones that have been oh God, it's crazy. So we've got them bang rights, and they just say, oh, we're gonna send it to who? Who are you gonna send it to? Nothing. They're liars. They're all liars.
Andrew, is Margaret on? Is Margaret Bass on? Because I think there's been.
I've sent her the WhatsApp. I don't know. I don't think she's on here. I don't think she's on. No, she's not on here at the moment. No. Right. I sent her the invite.
Because you guys may be aware, we have to herself and a couple of other people are going to approach Lambeth Council, because a repossessor approached first property in Stockwell area of Lambeth Council, and that was 2013-14. Lambeth Council is denying. It was a right to buy. She purchased it under the right to buy through the council, and they actually denying have any knowledge of it after seizing her property. Not the second one, the first one. So we now have to bring that into play, and as Jason's done, I've got the insurance policy for Lambeth Council. So that's something they're going to have to answer for. And I think obviously her current property, the last property that they seized, that's still on with a sham sale going through. But we know it's not a sale because Land Registry still got their legal owner, and it's got the restriction on it anyway by Margaret's claiming she doesn't consent, and the restrictions there specifically. So yeah, it's a battle for whether it's a battle, and it's going to continue.
Time, isn't it? When is it? I tell you when it's going to happen, yeah, because it's the time thing. I'm not looking at the time. It's the time thing, as in like when's it gonna end? The way I see it, yeah, and that's why I've always said it like that. Why I went to the people. When the people stand up, that's when it will end, because we don't have any enforcement.
Yeah.
We don't have any enforcement. And until the people enforce, or should I say, force them to enforce, or to enforce meaning no force, until we force them to act and perform their duty, you know, it's just gonna continue, and these will continue to lie, and they'll continue to just ignore, and that's exactly what they're doing. I'm just gonna read this little sentence out here that someone's just put in. Helen, I got a fact-finding recorded, and you can hear the way the judge speaks to victims and enables abusers, including telling her husband can rape his wife as it's his duty, and ignoring illegal gun usage to scare us and for kids. Illegal weapons, bullets with evidence ignored. You know, like I say, there's thousands, you know, there's hundreds of thousands. You know, there's if not millions, you know, there's millions and millions of this. In fact, let me see a case management file, because I'd love to see a case management file. All the people
Anthony's got one.
Anthony's got, yeah. Anthony's got one.
That's because he made the claim.
Yeah. That's the only case, yeah. The only true cases that's going to be is the ones that you create yourself, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
like I've said, I'll say it again. All I want to see is the documentation, and if they provide it, I will stand up and say I was wrong, and I will sign all their documents myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, then you'll have something to rebut, wouldn't you? You've not had anything to rebut. How can you rebut something if you can't see what it is, the accusations? You've not seen the accusations. You've not seen the affidavit or statement of truth made by a living man or woman that you've done any harm.
It's too stupid, too ignorant.
Yeah, how can you rebut it? Yeah. I mean, James went to the court, and you know what he's like on the phone. You got through to the court manager, and the court manager agreed to show him the case management file. So he goes down to the court, has some beef with the security guard, who says you can't enter this building unless you're searched. He says you're a liar because I'm in the court building and I ain't been searched. Anyway, I had his little beef with him, and he got him to be a witness, because he goes to the court manager, and the court manager says, I've got the case management file. I think that's what he meant. You can see it, it's here, but you can't look in it or anything. you can't look in it because the judge has told me you can't see it. How about that? So the judicial side of the court tells the administrative side of the court. Oh, okay. Yeah, so he can't see his case management file. So he puts his 3 documents he wanted to put inside the case management file. The judge, the court manager don't want to put him in. So he's demanded him on the 3rd time to put him in the case file, yeah? And he's put him in the case file, and he's got the witness of the security guard, who is just embarrassed because he's just pointing him out to be a liar. So you know what I mean? This is the point. This is what it's all about, like, you know? Standing in your own power and being the agent, because that's what you're being the agent of the person. They better listen, because remember, your person hasn't got a voice until you give it as an agent. Or you go and get one of their prostitutes, their solicitors, or their liars to do it for you. And you know full well he's going to tell you there's a case management file, but he won't be able to provide it, because no solicitor gets it. And look what they did to
my solicitor said they don't know what a claim is. No, not one of the directors at my former solicitors.
They don't know what the claim is.
They don't know what that is.
The case file, you mean?
Well, the case file, the claim. I said a claim.
Yeah, the information, layer of information.
Yeah.
It's simple. It's either going to be an affidavit, yeah, or a police statement. Either way, it's going to be a statement of truth that's been signed under the penalty of perjury, because otherwise anybody can make up a claim. You can't do that. And it's got to have the supporting evidence, because obviously a claim, any claim made without substance can be dismissed without substance. So it's got to be inside that case management, inside that layer of information which generated that case number that is allocated to that case file, that information later would be inside, must have an affidavit or a statement or a police statement made under caution, signed under the penalty of perjury. And it can't just be words, like I say. There's got to be witness statements and all the other supporting evidence to have it, so it's got some substance. Because it's a maxim, that any claim without substance can be dismissed without substance.
Yeah.
George, you owe me £1 million. George, you owe me £1 million. That's as daft as it is, isn't it? You know what? I said that to a copper when I phoned up for what's it like, and he tried to spin it, saying I threatened him. I said, "You hypocrite." I said, "Don't even go there, boy. Don't even go there." You know what I mean? Honestly, I said, "Don't marry," because I've got it all recorded my end, you idiot. You know, I was this stupid copper trying to say, "You just said, you're going to come and take my house." Because I said, like, okay, then if anyone can make a claim, then okay, then you owe me £1 million. I'm coming to take your house off you tomorrow because you owe me £1 million. And then he tried to spin it and say, "I threatened to take his house." Oh man, they just sit there, don't they, waiting to find. I can use that one. I can use that one against him.
I mean, imagine if we could make a claim against them with no evidence, no documented evidence, a claim to their insurance with no evidence, and then when they ask us, "Can we see your evidence and your claim, please?" we say no.
Well,
No,
as
you can get punished.
Jason, as a painter and decorator, yeah, you get the perks of the job. You get some paint, you get a brush every now and again. As a joiner, you'll get probably some bits of wood left over. But as a judge, or as a court staff, or the CPS or something, you've got the ability to send out these pieces of paper and get the other idiots to work for you, and then they'll bring you into this. Yeah, that's what I mean. They can hire the court for free, because it's they're using it privately, because these are private for-profit corporations. That's all they are, claiming and alleging to be public. Remember, they're putting public law on you, so there's a public-private adjoinder there. So those public laws apply to them. Remember, because they're the ones that have to have sworn an oath. They're the ones that have signed a contract. But then they go back themselves into the private. They all sit and do in the private, don't they? They're hiding behind the corporate veil. That's exactly what they're doing, because they're all corporations. That's why I say, who is it that took you to court, Jason? Nottingham County Council. How can Nottingham County Council take you to court? How could Nottingham County Council speak? It's a dead entity. It's a corporation. It's a building. So what does it get? It gets prostitutes, solicitors in there to speak for it, doesn't it? And guess what? It didn't take you to court, did it? It took the person. It took the person to court, but the person didn't have anyone to speak to at the time. And that person the owner of that person, which is you, went and asked a lawyer and gave him the power of attorney to go and do it. And that's when it all went tits up. That's where it all went tits up, because your lawyer and all those other boss drinkers were all in on it. They're all in on it, and they're all making money out of your person. They're all taking money out of your person, your trust. That's it. That's the sick game. I know it's a hard bit of a mind buggery to get it in your head what's going on, but that's it.
If anyone's involved with the council, just have a look through your documents and have a look to see how many signatures you find. You won't find any real signatures. Wetting signatures anyway.
Yeah, and they're on the company house. And company house 2006 Act 2000 Section 44 Part 1 and 2. It either has to have an official seal or a wetting signature from the director. Yeah, so they're all null and void, and that's according not from me, apart from all the errors on the documents as well. But that's coming from the Royal Courts of Justice themselves, where they stipulate there's any errors on the document makes the document null and void. It's not legally. Who was that? Someone just come in. Someone just come in and gone back out. I don't know who it was. But anyway, so yeah, there's that. Gotcha. Or they think so. They say we're going round and round to call and hang up. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the other side to it. You've got people that don't understand. So when you try to phone up to get somewhere, you've got to sit there and spend an hour trying to explain to them exactly what's going on, and they can't understand it. So you just wrap you in circles. They're not necessarily gatekeepers in the form of the gatekeeper as in deliberately, but there are some in there, most definitely, because I know that. But the majority of them are just, naive, nice people. stupid and ignorant nice meaning, yeah, the true meaning of nice. They're just nice people, and that have been told what to say. And not only that, they have a handler. When you're phoning these people up, they will have a handler. They will have somebody behind them telling them what to say. As on Sean's case, if you remember, because Sean was on that phone call to the was it the Metropolitan Police, whatever it was, when she phoned up to report the Freemasons, the judges and whatever that was. And she was trying to get it through. And the woman on there, she said, first of all, she wasn't a Freemason. Then she told her what a Freemason was. So she'd already lied because she said she didn't know what one was. And then I said to Sean, I sent the message like, Sean, ask her who's behind her that's telling her what to say. Who is it? And she gave his name. Yeah, she couldn't pass her on to anyone higher to speak. Yet there's somebody above her, behind her, that's telling her what to say. Crazy, yeah? Copy of the original. I'm half English and half Maori. My dad from Nottingham, he came out here, Royal New Zealand Air Force. Yeah. I mean, like I say, end of the day, yeah.
Well, who was that, Andrew? Andrew, who was that?
That was somebody on Aroa Awina. Somebody that's on the. I was just reading some comments on the.
All right.
Good morning, lads. It's 8 a.m. here in Aotearoa, sovereign nation, the wealthiest country in the world. Please support us and join us. Te Waka, Aroa, Facebook. We just a proclamation, covenant claim. That's the rest of it say. We need your help and support too. We're here. I've been trying to help you because the contract for the flag that you see in the corner, yeah, you see that flag. That's what ultimately I did a while back, with John Winoa. John Winoa, a beautiful one true gentleman, yeah, one true gentleman for what he tried to do to the world, for the people, by bringing forth the facts and evidence. And that flag was a contract with the people, the natives, the originals, and the kings of England. And the king was only there to speak for the people, remember? His crown was the people's sovereign, yeah? The people are sovereign, but the people now got their own crown back. That's what this corona period is all about, as far as I'm concerned. The crown has been taken off the head. This is the true crown. Everyone's got the true crown, yeah? When we stand up. When the real Slim Shady's real stand up, yeah? You're the crown, guys. You're the crown agent, yeah? You're the crown agent of your person. So be the crown agent of your person and let's get cracking. Let's get some stuff done. Yeah, man, I love, John's a true man. He was taking the boat back. Yeah, he was taking the boat back. Yeah, think about it, guys. Yeah, all these navies, this was the Navy. This was the protectorate. The Navy was the protectorate. Where's the navies? Come on, Navy. We want the life jackets because we're alive. We're not lost at sea. We're on the land now. Yeah, absolutely right. Anyone else got out to say? Has George dropped out?
No, we have a problem with the communication. They keep draining the battery. I know if you saw the live thing Anthony did yesterday on Facebook.
Yeah.
GCSQ tried to drop the broadcasting 3 times.
Yeah, so.
And even when Anthony went back, looked on his Wi-Fi, it said internet VPN's been tampered with. So they cut it 3 times. Eventually we got through. So yeah, sometimes we have problems with their device we're using, because obviously make sure they run on the battery, so it just cuts out suddenly. So that was what happened last time and just now. Yeah, so basically it's to tie up with everyone, see how everyone's doing. I'm on the court in the 8th of this month, April.
You're going to court on the 8th of April, yeah?
8th,
by the way, anybody out there that wants to where's the court, George?
Barkingside.
Sorry, hang on, let me rephrase that. Where's the building?
Building.
Where's the building they claim as a court?
850 Cranbrook Road, Barkingside, Ilford, Essex. So yeah, I'll be there again. We're going to challenge whichever judge with his foolishness. We've sent back the stuff to CPS. for them to verify, as you see on the video, Anthony said, the actual court order, what's alleged put with the bond was on the page 91. So it gives it just shows all the nonsense they're doing. So this is not a court order because it says page 91 of the bundle they sent me, gave me 20 minutes before the sham hearing, and said I should read it. So I refused to take it. I said, what is that nonsense? Then some to and fro. I then warned the clerk. I wanted to know who she was, and the legal advisor wanted to know their name. The judge eventually said I shouldn't. They don't have to give it, but the Minister of Justice rules on the magistrate court is that they have to give at least their first name, the judge, if he's a judge, and the legal advisor. But anyway, eventually I refused to go in the sham dock, and as I said, as you know, he said I refused to die myself. He left the court, came back, said he's going to make an order the second time, and the third time he didn't come back at all. So he abandoned the court really, and tried to serve me these sham documents. And then when they put me in the cell the following day, which is the 24th of March, he then said, here are the documents. I said, I'm not going to take them. I said, I challenge him, is he on his oath? Is he on the Nolan principle? And they read it off, and he got up and left. Left the door and basically went outside. I called the police and said, I want the judge arrested. And they turned it on me and said I didn't turn up. So put me in the cell to the following day, and I have to answer this rubbish allegation brought by. The interesting thing about it is that the fraudulent and criminal police chief constable who's actually left the borough in January secretly, Stephen Clayman, he disappeared, and yet he's the one that brought these alleged charges, and he's Metropolitan Professional So-Called Standard Department. So they all know. As you know, the previous day, 2 days before that, I went down to Petty France and kicked up a fuss in Petty France building. And the only thing they didn't do, which I was surprised, they didn't call the police. And none of them.
Is that when they gave you a letter stating that you had the legal authority to get your case management file?
No, that was the week before that. I'd had 10 days before that, I went to Willesden Magistrate Court, which is Northwest 5 London, and Bow didn't want to deal with it, which is the nearest administration court centre for us, which is about 2.5 miles away. They then said they couldn't see the records of this court case that I've phoned up about and said I've got, and they couldn't show me anything. So I had to go to Willesden, which is at least an hour out of my way. Anyway, I eventually went up there, spent about 2.5 hours up there. The manager there, Miss Tone, gave me a letter saying Mr. Cox came in to George's been in to request his file view, and it's his legal right under the Ministry of Justice rule to see his file view. So I've got that letter from her. She then sent a copy of the letter to Mohammed, a man called Mohammed at the Bow Administration Centre, which is the Magistrate Court for East London, the Administration Centre, saying he's sorting it out. Because I said he needs to sort it out because I'm on the court building on the 23rd. Nothing happened, and went there, and as I said, it was one kerfuffle. But they are so scammy, and you know, you try to talk to them, and it was just unbelievable. Now, just to cut a long story short, what happened on the 24th, Marcel then, I've been asking the court manager, who's called Catherine Robinson. She's in charge of the admin and various other things. She's been in the court system in East London for 28 years. So she knows the run-ins. So basically, I've been asking since December 2020 for the case management file that sent me to prison in April 2002. Now, she's already aware that I've got a letter from the RCJ saying there was no case. They actually said that. They've actually got it in writing, said there's no case file, there's nothing there. But you have to go to the lower court where it originated, which is Barkingside. And the administration centre for there is Bow, which is where she's based. So she's then Marcel confronted her on the 24th of this month in the building in Barkingside court building, and then said, Catherine Robinson, where's the case? So she then stood panic-stricken and said she's trying to get it still. This is the case order, the lay of information that was sent me to prison in April 2020, and she still can't find it, but she's still trying. And I'm just looking at her face, and it's like
trying being the more sensible word. Yeah, very trying. They are very trying, aren't they? You know what I mean?
oh, extremely.
Point is, I mean,
Extremely.
the main thing is like on this letters patent as well. Like, where are they claiming their authority from to be a court? Where are they claiming their authority from?
Yeah.
Where are they claiming their authority from to be a police force? Like, yeah. I'll just show the letters patent. Like, it's very clear here. Like when you read it, what it is. Like, letters patent, right? Always in plural. A type of legal instrument in the form of a published written order issued by the monarch or president or other head of state, generally granting an office, right, monopoly, title, or status to a person or corporation. Letters patent can be used for the creation of corporations or government offices. Where have they got them from? Where's these letter patents, mate? Where's their letters patent to say that they had the authority? Where they've been granted that authority from a monarch, like, yeah. And bear in mind, the monarch, is therefore the monarch's only a slave, is a slave in a sense because it's a servant, yeah. They're the monarch's the servant for the people, That's so, and the crown is the sovereignty of the people, yeah. So that the crown that she had on her head, which she, as John Winower clearly pointed out, was a third party to a two-party contract a long time ago. I don't know if you've seen what they've done in New Zealand. The Queen of New Zealand is the Queen and the Right of New Zealand, which is a corporation on Dun and Bradstreets. That's who they're claiming their authority from a corporation in Dun and Bradstreets. To have this is Jacinda Ardern, by the way. Absolute criminal, absolute 100% criminal. So this is the whole point. And the thing is, the letters patent, they can't have a letters patent because if they do have a letters patent, you remember the Queen swore on an oath, yeah? Although she signed it at the top, the coronation oath, she thinks she can get away with it by signing it at the top, not at the bottom. So she didn't have to, anything below the signature doesn't matter. This is why she signed it at the top, the coronation oath at the top. Who signs the letters at the top, by the way? If you write a letter, yeah, would you sign it at the top? No, you sign it at the bottom, don't you? Or autograph it at the bottom, shall I say?
So, sorry, just explain. So the bit where she signed it at the top is to get over the contents of the letter below that. Is that what you're saying?
If let's work it out logically.
In her case.
Here's a letter. If I write my name, address, and write the letter out here, yeah, would I sign it at the top? Anything below the signature doesn't matter. It's anything that's above the signature that matters. That's what you're signing to. So when they read the coronation oath out there, she signed it at the top. She signed it at the top, so there was no coronation. She's not saying she's there to protect God's laws, because she's not there to protect God's laws. That's why these people are doing what they're doing with these other laws that they've created, which is man's law. That's not God's law. And she swore to protect God's law. So that's why there's no law. That's why it's not being enforceable, because the people have been fooled. You've been jinxed. And these people that turn around.
Sorry, just a question, Andy. Just a question when you're talking. When she swore, who did she swear by?
Who did she swear to? She swears to the Creator.
By.
She swears to the Creator, Almighty God, and to the people.
Right.
To the people.
So she swore to the Creator.
To the people who she's meant to be serving to. And that's the coronation oath says that's it. That's it. You're going to keep God's law. Yeah. Right. So therefore, if in other words, lower the land. Yeah. No harm, loss, or injury. None of these statutes are nonsense, because that's nothing. That's all corporate. The crown's not a living crown. It's a corporation. It's the Crown Corporation. The living crown's coming back because it's gone now. You, everybody, everyone, you, Marcel, Leona, Jason, Frank, and everybody that's watching this, and every single one of you, you all have a crown. You are the living crown. And when we all stand up, we are the crown agents of the person that was created for us. We can get rid of them persons. We can just be the men and women that we are under God's law, under Creator's law, yeah? Cause no harm, loss, or injury. And then we can get ahead and start making this heaven on earth. That's it, really. As soon as the people stand up, that's it. And he says, oh, you can't, there's too many. Shut up and go away, sit down, go and get your book, go and sort your head out while you're out. Don't worry about it. Leave it to all the rest of the people to stand up. Look how many people stood up before us, yeah? Look what happened to them. And the only reason what happened to them is because we wasn't ready, we wasn't prepared. Well, now is the best time of ever. How many more people are awake now compared to what it is? Remember, all the other times this has ever happened, they never had the internet. People couldn't speak. The books to gain the knowledge, it was never there for us. The internet gave it to us for free because people put them into PDFs for people to read. There's people out there speaking like I'm doing now to try and make it easier for people to understand. This is all it comes down to. You can't deny the truth, because what I'm saying to you resonates 100% with you. I know it does, because it's the truth. It's the truth, and all you've got to do is stand up, lose the fear. The fear can only exist where doubt is there. The knowledge is there, peeps. Just get out there and see it for yourself. Turn that television off. Get rid of the TV, because that's not going to tell you anything. That's what's programmed you in the first place. That's why they call it TV programs. They're channeling you, because it's TV channels. They're channeling their nonsense in you to make you fear. They're casting fear, broadcasting that. They're broadly casting fear into you so that you don't stand up. So please, for the real Slim Shady, please stand up. That's all it takes. Honestly, if we all stood up, it's game over.
Andy, let's not miss out. Yeah, I think also, let's not miss out. There are people there with real apprehension and fear. That's real for a lot of people. Yeah. So what I would say though, speaking to James the other day, once you know and you understand, you lose that. You don't lose it completely. You always got an element of it, but you're more bold in terms of speaking. And he's right what he's saying, because if you're not speaking with conviction, you will have fear. You will. So I wouldn't dismiss the fact that
conviction, they will know that you haven't got it in you. That's the point.
True.
You can't kid a kidder. These are people that kid you. These are people because it's the same on the rule. Let those that are deceived be deceived. They can see whether you're, it's like a game of poker, guys. It really is. It's like if they can see that there's any doubt in you, they will walk over you. Because these are masters of manipulation. That's what they're trained to be, master manipulation. If they can see any weakness in you, they will attack it. But with the knowledge, knowledge gives you the confidence. The knowledge is the light that's within inside your mind that casts out all the darkness. There's the doubt. Once you've got rid of the doubt, fear can't exist. You can't be scared. People say like, "Oh, you're brave." No, it's not that you're brave. I would hate myself not to speak up. I couldn't. I'm not. That's the thing. You can't be a coward. I hate being a coward. I hate cowards. I hate being a coward. I hate myself when I'm a coward. Not hate. I suppose probably I hate words. I don't hate.
I would rephrase it. I would rephrase it slightly. I would rephrase it slightly different.
I don't like myself being a coward. I don't like being a coward. I've been a coward. Everyone's been a coward. Everyone's lied, even if it's just little white lies. You'd want to call it like, oh, I didn't really mean it. Yes, you did. You knew it. You knew it, but you couldn't speak up because you were scared. There was something stopping you, and that's coward. That's being a coward. If everyone spoke the truth, people would probably, that's the thing. It's not a case, and that's what's that? What number two? Number two on my thing. What other people think of you is none of your business. That's a fact. It's none of your business. Right? If you speak the truth and they don't like you, so what? You spoke the truth. You did the honorable thing. When they wake up themselves, they will respect it. A lot of people say about telling the truth. I'm not gonna soft soap it so that you want, to for your feelings, because I wouldn't want that doing myself. I want you to tell me straight. I want you to tell me the truth. Bugger my feelings. You correct a fool, he'll hate you. I'm not a fool. You correct me, I'll thank you. And that's the thing.
But Andrew, you must also, I think sometimes when you deal with people, it's very hard. And many years dealing with different people, families, individual groups. I think James does make a very good point. He does make many good points valid. There is fear. There's natural fear. But if you're confident, I think you will get over that. I would, like Jason was. So you've got that boldness because you know what you're talking about. So I wouldn't dismiss fear because it's people who, that's why I think the authorities win, because I know people who would be only too willing to take a bribe and speak against me and say, I'm telling you, I've seen them. I know them. I know some of them exist on the group, quite frankly.
Which group?
They would not think. Sorry?
This one.
Sorry.
Give me 500 quid. I'll say something bad about you.
So when we see that, I've know people, friends, and they will go and they will say all manner of, but you know, I would tell myself, I don't care what they say. They can say what they want. It doesn't bother me because I've seen it. I've been there. And at the end of the day, that fear element will come into it because that person now, police have got me. If I don't comply, they're going to do this, that, the other. They don't want it to happen to them. So there is that fear. And there are some people who are naturally coward and they would not stand up. It doesn't matter what they do.
You know, so, next time you go into the court, like, yeah, next time you go into the court, asking them to provide that case management file, I'll give you a suggestion. What I reckon you ought to do is take some tins of beans and some, like, you can get them like sausage and beans or whatever you want, like, yeah, just take a little bit of pack up, like, yeah, take this in a little tent, yeah, and just start pitching it up right outside the office, like, say, when you've managed to bring the case management file, I'll go, but I can see you're going to be a long time because you're absolutely complete incompetent morons, like, but I'll be pitched up here. So when you've got it,
George,
I'll wrap up and get out of it, yeah?
Also, you could have, before, when they call you in, whatever you're going to do, tell the clerk that you're not going in until he provides you with their insurance policy.
You'd arrest him anyway.
James is reiterating, like, we don't ask. We must stop asking. We're telling them. We're telling.
Yeah, that's a point. That is a good point.
Yeah, he's right there. Like George, when I was there and I told him, go back in there and then come back out. Go back in and stamp it and then come back. You tell them, go back in there, get me your insurance policy and then bring it to me, please.
I've got to be honest, Jason, when you said it, I was quite impressed. I said, no, you go back in there. And so it wasn't asking, you were telling him. Mm-hmm. And he knew that because the guy was pacing up and down like a half-wit. And then when he came out the third time, said, I'm not ready yet. You go back in there and which is true. It is telling. He's not asking.
Then he came out. He called me in, didn't he?
He did.
And then when I said no, go back in there, yeah, he says, I'm going to go to the toilet. I'm like, what?
And then
what is going on here?
It's true. It's true. James, good point. Tell them. Don't ask. Tell. It's true. No, it's true.
I mean, this is what it. I mean, because remember, that's what they're used to. They're servants. Yeah. They're servants. Yeah. They need to be told. They've been told what to do, and if you don't tell them what to do, they've been told, if you ask, don't tell them. So don't ask, tell them, because that's what they're used to being told what to do, because that's what a servant is. And he is a public servant. So look, I love you. I know that you've been done this, but listen, right? You are a public servant, and you're here to serve me. Now, I require this, and I want you to do it now. And now, not tomorrow, now. Do it now. Go and get it now, please. Nice. No ifs or buts. Go and do it. Thank you.
100%.
Like another one said it to me. Another way of saying it was like, yeah, you would speak to them. How would you speak to if you had a butler? How would you speak to the butler? You know,
with respect but firmly.
So you yes, exactly. Firm but fair. Firm but fair. That's the way it is. Yeah. So that's really. I mean, because otherwise they're going to get I mean, that vexatious claim that that's what they all want. Always, he said it nasty. No, they are a servant, yeah, and they need to understand who it is that they are serving. because this is what they lack. They lack the ability of understanding that actually, do you understand the Nolan principles, guys? Because you're to adhere to them. You just want to know, if you're working in a public office, you're to adhere to the 7 Nolan principles. I shouldn't need to remind you that. And if you don't understand it, I'll read it out for you, shall I? And make sure you go and put this on the desk for everyone else to see it too, because everybody in there needs to adhere to the Nolan principles. And we need to start, as people, as the members of the public, yeah, we need to see you servants start adhering to what you're meant to be adhering to, what you're stipulated, and what is it's there, it's for you, it's on your own government website. You can't ignore it. That is the Nolan principles, and we need to start seeing some honesty and integrity and selflessness coming out of you.
Yeah.
Some damn good. You know, that's, I mean, if they were servants, this world would be a beautiful place. The reason they're not serving the people, number one, because they're asking instead of telling them, right? Yeah. And number two, because they're being told by someone, yeah, and not us. And it's their bosses telling them, because their bosses are the ones that are covering it up, because they're the ones that are creaming and stealing our trusts, because they're all criminals. And they're all guilty of it. It's like Anthony said, you know, he had that lawyer, a family lawyer, a family friend. He had to ask him 4 times. On the 4th time of asking for his case management file, what did he say? I'm professionally embarrassed. I have to leave. He never got them a case file because the case file didn't exist. And the point is, yeah, these lawyers, they're not going to own up to the fact, because if they own up to the fact that they're doing wrong now, they've got to admit all the previous cases that they've done were all wrong too. And that's why they're not admitting it, because they're thick as thieves. They're all in on it. And they're all holding their mouth shut because they think it's going to go away. They think the people will just fall back to sleep. It ain't happening, guys. The longer you leave it, the hardest, worse it's going to be for them all. All these police, all these court workers, all these council workers, the longer they leave it, the harder it's going to be. You know? At the end of the day,
actually, on one point, Andy, on the 23rd, in the court building, we had the duty solicitor. We thought we'll try her and ask her, because we want her to request the case management file. So she turned around, because I've obviously met her before, previously, lady lawyer called Anna McCarthy. I said, can you actually said, I cannot act for you because I'm professionally embarrassed. And she said she refused in the court building, in the building. So you do get it, and some they know what we're going to ask. And she anticipated that and said she couldn't do it. In fact, she said she won't do it. Represent, yeah. It was a test for her, but obviously we were aware that what her response would be if we did ask her.
The thing is, I mean, like with Margaret's case, I mean, in your cases and Jason's case and everything else, and everybody else that's come forward and brought their cases out into the open, showing, like Tariq's case and James's, everyone's cases, like, yeah, you know, you're showing people, because once people start to see it, like, yeah, they're saying, yeah, that happened to me as well. And now, because you're all standing up, it's making more people stand up, and I'm seeing a lot more people stand up, like. And I've seen here, what Stuart's just said, like, I reported a case of harassment to the PCSO in front of a witness in 2018. My complaint was ignored for 3 weeks, and 3 weeks later, was ignored, and 3 weeks later, the Gestapo police arrested me instead. And that's the point where people, I mean, look what happened to John Patterson, for God's sakes. I've witnessed John Patterson since 2015 trying to report crimes. In the end, they got him. In the end, they stuck him in a mental health ward, and all on a court case, which, I mean, there you go, just to show the hypocrisy of it all. They captured John, right, again, with nothing. This time, they had him in a court and they stuck him in a prison, and then got him from the prison into a mental health ward, because they couldn't get him in the mental health ward before, because they chucked him out twice. Right, so they took him into a prison to get him into the mental health ward to the back door, poisoned him for a year, then said that he was competent to stand trial. Listen to this. This is a fact. The doctor, the psychiatrist, said that he was competent to stand trial and make a plea. Right, I'd proved as well with Anthony. We'd gone through the whole thing. We've proven that there was no such thing as a court case. It wasn't a court case at all. I put them on notice and sent them the case file of the resolver. They sat and read it for 2.5 hours, right? And then the judge came out and said, I was going to give you 5 to 15 years, but give him a section 41 and sent him back into the mental health ward saying he was mental when he'd just been signed off as competent. And if that ain't hypocrisy at the max and the cone complete take the piss of the world, I don't know what is. How can a psychiatrist sign him as competent, you know, after having him there 1 year poisoning him so that he was not competent to do anything, signed him out as competent so he could make a plea so they could stick him in prison for 15 years. And then because I'd stopped him with the case file and proving the whole thing was a corruption, yeah, and then they just threw him back in the mental health ward. You can deal with it. That's what we're in. That's the world that we're in. So, you know what I mean? I understand exactly what you're saying there, Mark. You know, they don't care. If you report, I saw Katie Bourne, you know, here's Katie Bourne with 2 different dates of birth on Company's house. Yeah, this is the same Katie Bourne, right? Who got John Hofe locked up, who got Matthew Taylor. He got him a 2-year suspended sentence for stalking. He got John Hofe locked up for stalking. Yeah, John Hofe had got the evidence because he's inside the Royal Commission, by the way. He got the evidence because his farm was stolen off him by Kent police. They grew cannabis on his farm and were selling that, as well as importing drugs from over in Amsterdam and stuff, and selling the proceeds. Yeah, and they gave his firearms and his ammunition or whatever to Winston Leachman, right? Winston Leachman was working for the police and paying the police because it is in his files. And that same guy, right, yeah. Then we also have to look at Brian Sexfield. Now, Brian Sexfield was a 12-year board member of Crime Stoppers. He was appointed by Lord Ashcroft. Now, he witnessed a murder in Bohemian Police Station where a guy got beaten to death as far as he's concerned. And the policeman that witnessed it has put a hit on Brian Sexfield. Now, Brian Sexfield went to Katie Bourne. Katie Bourne's done 0. And that Winston Leachman, apparently, according to Brian himself, said he saw Winston Leachman come to him and he's like, he was one of the guys that's coming out. And this is the police who's giving him the arms. So this is the world that we're living in. And that's what the Freemasonry investigations were exposing. The Freemasons working with inside the police station that was working with the criminal organised gangs from the outside. And they was getting them criminal organisations to do the hits on people that was covering up their crimes, taking big bungs, and they was giving them the information from the inside because the police were working from the inside with them. I mean, that operation, I forget what the operation was on the Freemasons, but one of the gangs.
Bumblebee? Was it Bumblebee?
No, it was, I forget what it was called. Operation. Anyway, I'll remember it in a minute, or somebody will tell me. But that operation, I was reading it. Because I put it out on my Facebook. The secret file that shouldn't have been released. And one of the criminal organisations, there was a witness who'd come in, and they wouldn't give him protection, but they filed his witness statement away so that no one could see it. When they found him dead, or whatever it was, I think it was, they went round to the guys who they thought was, or the criminal gang, and he'd got the policeman's statement rolled up in one of his shoes. So this, because they'd done a runner, they'd already been tipped off that the police were going around, but they found the statement that they wouldn't give this guy who had made this statement, they wouldn't give him witness protection, and they said they'd file it away so that no one could see it, but they found it in the criminal gang's fucking shoe. So, you know, political prisoners look like me. Operation Or. No, it wasn't Operation Or. It was no, it was not the paedophile. It was the Freemasons.
Freemason police. Yeah.
I think it was 2001. It was on Press TV. Press TV put a video out.
I've seen it. I can't remember the title. I have seen a glimpse of it. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Tiberius. Operation Tiberius.
Tiberius. Yeah, that's it, Tiberius. Yeah. It's I wonder sometimes when you look at these guys in these, obviously we all know it's Freemason, in these high position, in these police forces, whether they can act any differently, Andy. Because when I say differently, they should, because it's almost like they don't have a choice but to keep with the status quo and do what they're doing. I mean, if you look at the Metropolitan Police at the moment, is spending hours with awful Priti Patel trying to find the next police commissioner for Metropolitan London. And I'm thinking, one, we know the one today, he died, the one for Leicestershire. He was in the running. And I just wondered who they're going to choose to put there, because I don't think it's going to make any difference, quite frankly. And I think these
who the
dirt bags.
It's until, to be truthful, we can't have a centralised government like it is. We need localised. It's got to come down to localised. And the people in those local areas have got to start putting forward the people that they can trust.
Like the Scottish,
And it's got to be 100% transparent. All this nonsense about, we're not interested now. The people need to be shown. The people have a right. The reason people are stupid and lazy because of what's not been shown them. If they were shown the truth, it would shock them into waking up. You know, if they were shown the truth of what's been really going on. You know, until we have, you can't hold secrets like 7/7 and 9/11 and all the rest of the false flags that have all been created, all by these corporations just to get the people to react so that they'll tell the government to do something. All these wars and everything else that they've created because the people spoke up and didn't realise what they were speaking up to because they've been fooled. Look at this COVID nonsense with the what they did in China. You can see now with the staged events, these are all false flags to get people to react, and their reaction creates what the police wanted them to do. That's the whole thing about it. They create something to create a reaction so that the people will ask them to do something, and then they'll take away your rights. I don't want to take anybody's rights away. Everyone's got every right to do everything, as long as it's not causing anybody harm, loss, or injury. Or the planet, or the planet, because the planet's got to look after us and our future generations. So long as you're being cool, you're cool. That's it. Yeah. And you've got every right to a fair trial, 100%. Yeah. And everyone's got a right to see all facts of everything. Everything must be presented. Stand up and stand fast. That's it. Just hold the ground. Stand with true conviction. Don't move until you've got what you was there for, what you told them to give you. Yeah. Ain't got much faith in you, Billy, but I think Holgate will win. Well, Billy, he's not going to that building that's alleged to be a court. In fact, actually, Bill, the last one you sent back was when they sent to your customer. You was a customer. He said, as the agents of the customer, can I see the letters painted, please? You know, what are you using? Where are you claiming your authority from? You know, if they're claiming to be Crown, listen, we're all the Crown. And if they're working for the Crown agents, well, you're working for me. Correct. That's it, you know, and that means every one of you out there, because you've all got, that was your crowning moment. That was the first thing that came into this world. Yeah, when you popped out, it's the crowning moment. Now you're crown. Now stand up and be the crown, and let's start governing these servants. Yeah, the servant's position is should be highly respected. We should respect our servants very nicely. But unfortunately, our servants are allowing themselves to run rogue and allowing their fellow servants to run rogue and make mockery of them all. So there cannot be any respect for any of these public servants until they start serving.
True.
When they do, then they'll get the respect from the people. And the good ones in there, if there are any good ones, and I'm told there are, yet to see it, I'm sure there are, and I've heard stories of all. I mean, I remember the one that was stood up for Carol Woods. He ended up dead at the bottom of Ben Nevis, didn't he? You know, so we know there are.
He's at the top, by the way. He went up. He smoked himself with a gas thing, innit?
Oh, he killed him at the top, was it? Mike,
he went up there, drove up, and decided to gas himself. Anyway,
I'm sure it was completely, non-assisted. It was a completely unassisted suicide. Just so happens he was going to expose, especially when Carol Woods had got the facts that Cherie Blair had perjured in court. You know. So there was no influence on that. He just went up there and killed himself. Yeah.
But Andy, just on that, because you try to put yourself, not I'm in their position, put yourself in their shoes and see guys were operating at that level. The criminal activity that goes on, which we know is what's fueling it. How can they do anything different? If I'm thinking about it, realistically, you cannot. It's all going to be a root and branch clear out. I don't see. I had a situation. I think it was 2020 summer. I went down to CPS again with my camera, and I made sure I record most things now when I'm out because I don't trust them. So 3 police approached me, and I said, "What are you doing?" They accused me basically of filming important buildings because there's a military thing next door on Petite France next door.
Mhm.
I was filming Petite France and talking as I'm, yeah. They then accused me. There's some the guy gave me some leaflets of this, that, and the other. They were quite polite, but then later on, I then wrote to the chief constable for Helen Ball, who's now running for Met Police Commissioner. She's at Westminster and Chelsea. Why was I stopped in the street? They said, no, I was stopped because I was filming sensitive bit or some rubbish. One of them said it's coming. Anyway, eventually I said, if I was a white German, would I be stopped in the street and accused of a crime in the street? Accosted, just take my camera, look through my stuff. Anyway, eventually it's still there on their file. And it's like, they all know what's going on. These guys are at the level where I just don't think they can do anything different, Andy, because it's so far gone. And the only thing I can see that happening in certainly our location, like the Metropolitan Police, how they're not on special measure, only God knows. Because every single constabulary in this country, vast majority of them, including Surrey Police, Hampshire and Somerset, Manchester, they all they're all under special measure, which is basically alleging that they're actually governed by the Home Office. How can any of these guys do any different? Who are they kidding? They're only kidding themselves. I don't think they can do nothing different, Andy. There's good people there, I'm sure, who will want to do things. I've spoken to lots of police, so I know they want to do it. One was called Sergeant Newman.
The other side to all this is because what we're going to look at it is really, I mean, all in all, realistically, what do I want to see? I want to see the people. I want to see the people do it. But we have 2 other things in there that's meant to be doing it. One is the police and one is the military, yeah?
Yes.
So we have the military, but the true protectorate of the people, which is the Navy, that's the true protectorate. That's the Navy, the naval. Yeah, that's why New Zealand's so important, because that's the naval of the world. Yeah, that's naval of Earth. So the Navy, yeah, which was in that flag again, which was the black line that locked out Satan and the pirates, yeah, which were going to keep them away from the money. But no, the pirates are the ones, the satanic ones are the ones that are creating all that pieces of paper. Yeah, they should be the ones. They should be the ones that step in and stand in. And they should be the ones that bring in and take control of the parliament and the police stations and everybody else until and only as for the people, while because that's who they work for, that's who they're meant to be there to protect. Until the people properly elect people to step in and localized. We can't have a one government, one rules all, which is this one world dictatorship, which is what they wanted. No, it's localized. It's localized, you know, because it's got to be kept small and simple. Those people can talk, but everyone must have a voice. And I think, as far as I'm concerned, it's your duty. Everybody needs to understand their duty. They've been made easy. I mean, remember the police used to say, don't get involved. Don't get involved. Just call the police. No, everybody should be getting involved, because I don't need a policeman. The only time I've ever asked for a policeman was when I needed a crime reference number for an insurance thing. I don't want the police. I can look after myself, and if I see anyone being hurt or harmed, I'll go and protect them, because that's what we're meant to be here to do: stand up for each other. You know, and if that was happening, the police wouldn't be. Why do you think the police have tried to pay people to go out and cause trouble? Because if there was there'd be no jobs. And exactly the same thing, right? Exactly the same reasons for what the police are the police, because they make people criminals so that they've got a job. in exactly the same reason when in 2014, when I did my research on cancer, I found out that the pharmaceutical industry destroyed anybody that brought out something that healed the people because they would be out of a job. And the doctors took bungs to destroy anybody who brought any healings out. So in the same way as the police don't want anybody in there, they don't want the people to be peaceful and loving because they want you confused and screwable and doable. And they want you to, if they can't make you go and cause a crime, they want to be able to just do you with some act or statute that didn't apply to you anyway, through trickery and deception, because that's exactly what it is. So they want you dumbed down. That's why they took control. The pharmaceutical industry, the same scum, evil that took control of the curriculum for the doctors, is the same scum that took the curriculum for the teachers to teach our children.
Yeah.
They don't want you clever. They don't want you knowing who you are, because people who know who they are very powerful, because people are the power. But the people keep giving their power away because they don't know that they're doing it. Just by simply thinking that there's a government. There isn't. It's a corporation. There isn't a government. The police don't have any powers. They don't have letters patent. They have zero authority. All they have is brute force and ignorance because they're belligerent terrorists. Yeah.
Theresa May said it in 2015. They police by consent.
And no one consents, so why are they policing?
Yeah.
Because they're terrorists. Whether they know it or not, they're terrorists. Like a liar is a liar because he knows the truth. Yes, he knows he's lying. But the people that are lying because they don't know the truth, they're still lying. It's all down to intent. I'm not saying that the police, all police, because there most certainly are some, I'm not saying all police have got the intention. Their volition isn't to be a terrorist, right? Or isn't to be a belligerent terrorist. They haven't got that intent. But what they're doing is belligerent acts of terrorism. So just because they don't know what they're doing doesn't mean it doesn't make it easier on the people that they're doing it to. The people that's being tortured, they're still being tortured because the police don't know what they're doing. You know,
well, I mean, your point, to bear out your point, Andy, it just makes valid sense, and it makes perfect sense, because if you imagine the Second World War, after these Gestapo criminals, guards are being caught 75 years later, what are they saying? I was only doing my job. That's all they're saying. Now, I know the last one, Danonovich, the assumed name in America. So Israel, I think Israel brought him back, or had him extradited from America. He lived in an assumed name, but they had all the details there in North America, and they brought him back. Obviously, pretended to be in a wheelchair, 89 or 90 or something like that. He was quite an old guy, but he's now claiming that he didn't know what he was doing, took his orders. Now, anybody can say that, but anybody can distinguish, even if you've got half a brain, distinguish whether you're doing something wrong or not. Then you resign from that job. If the police know...
Everyone should have a moral compass. Everyone,
exactly.
Like I said, they have a moral compass, because if they was given the order to go and jump off a bridge or walk in front of a train, they wouldn't do it.
That's right.
So they know that they don't have to follow orders. They know that they don't have to follow orders, therefore they can't use that excuse. And what do they say to you? Ignorance is no excuse, yeah? So no, you can't use those excuses. All you Surrey police that are out there terrorising Tariq and his family, you've got no excuse. You've been told, we've put the videos out there, you've all been notified, and you're all on notice and for and on the record in the public. You've all been told that you're all terrorists because of what you're doing. Prove me wrong.
Who's their chief constable? Who's their chief constable? Sorry, who's he?
I don't know.
You don't know. Yeah. That's that dirtbag sitting there passing judgments, and he's just committing crimes.
But I know they've seen the videos. I know they've seen the videos because Tariq sent it to them. So I know they've seen it, and I know the police are watching everything I'm doing. They're waiting for me to say something to try and cause trouble or something so that they can come and attack me. I'm not here to cause any. I don't want any violence. That's the last thing. I'm not here to create violence. I forgive everyone. I forgive all the police. You know, even for the ones that had done what they did to me, they stuck me in prison for like 21 months. They gave me the maximum what they could give me. You know, and they did give me big fines as well. They took all my money off me. You know, it doesn't matter to me. It's not me that they've got to live to. They did those things. I gained a lot of things out of that. You know, I needed that time out. I needed a break. So, you know, I used it. I was not in prison. You know, you can never put me, you know, I've got myself, I've got my own mind, I've got my own visions, and I've got my own, you know, I can do everything I want. It doesn't wherever I am. You can never lock me away, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I can go on my own dreaming journeys wherever I want to go to. You know, I can go and educate myself. I can read books now. I've got the time. You know, I had the plan. I had the time. Literally. Whereas a lot of people are putting their heads, smashing their heads against the wall because they're locked up and they can't get out. I didn't. I enjoyed it. I used it for what it was. I met a lot of people. I mean, crikey, blimey! I kid you not, right? I kid you not. I could have come out there massive. I had that many jobs offers, mate. You wouldn't believe it. Because I'd gone in there, obviously, because when you go in the prison, right? I mean, to tell you a story, I was in Shrewsbury prison, right? Sitting on the exercise yard. Right? I don't know how many people in there, what, probably 200, 100 people, I don't know, whatever. Loads of people in this exercise yard. It's only the smallest exercise yard in Shrewsbury prison. And I'm lent against the sewing building wall, I think it was, right? I was sat down there, I was talking to a mate, Andy Collette, his name was. So yeah, you can check this out. I'm not lying to you. And Shrewsbury prison was the allocation prison for Stoke-on-Trent, because it was from Stafford Crown Court that I went to, right? And I'm sat in the exercise yard, and the Stokies, like, yeah, they all grouped together, like, yeah. And I'm sat down talking down to that, and there's about 5 Stoker lads come down and sat in front of me. Right? There's a few of us all leant against the wall, and this big group come and sat down in front of me like that. And I'm looking at him, and I said, "You're right, Andy. You're right, Andy. No problems." Like, I'm like, "Yeah," but I knew there was something fucking wrong. Yeah, my spider senses were telling me there's something wrong. I ain't fucking like it. And the rest of the crowd just carried on walking around. And I'm sat talking to me and Andy, like, yeah. And so obviously I'm facing this way, and there's the gate. There's a gate there, and there's the top corner. And that's where the 2 screws were standing, watching what goes on inside the exercise yard. I'm talking to Andy, and the screws turn around. They both turn around. Right? And I thought, what the fuck's going on here? So I'm looking, like, yeah. And this Stokey crowd, this next lot come walking straight up. This one guy come out of the crowd. He comes straight up and he launched, he volleyed, right, yeah. This guy that was sat next to me, the building, like, echoed the building. And he just turned back, walked back into the crowd, walking around. The screws turned around, opened the gate, walked in and carried him out, right? And then the Stokies told me what the score was, right? The Stokies had told me he'd just mugged an 80-year-old, like, yeah, beat an 80-year-old up.
Wow.
So that's what the screws do. The screws give the debts out, you know, what you've been put in for. Because another one, in that same prison, right, there was a guy pad up me when I first went in there. And they had to slash this guy up because he'd raped this girl. And he's like, man, next week. And they was putting the pressure on him. The Stokers were putting the pressure on him to slash him up because they couldn't get to him because he was padded up with the same guy. So I know that the screws, right, give the debts out, right? Give what you've been taken there for. So obviously mine too. So they'll see that I did my time because I took the rap. I didn't have children. My co-accused had children. And I took the rap. I said, no, it was all mine. Yeah, because they got nothing on me. So they saw who I was. And I'm not shit. I shit you not. The job opportunities I had while I was in there, mate, was crazy. Was crazy, mate, yeah. So anyway, that's what I'm saying. That's all they are. They're recruiting places for them. Because the people that go in there, I kid you not, right, yeah, going on just talking about on drugs here, right, yeah. At the time I went in there, I think an ecstasy tablet was between 10 and 15 pound, right, for an ecstasy tablet. You could get them in prison, yeah, for a phone card, which is £2.50. The screws were bringing the drugs in. The screws were bringing the drugs in for the people. This is what I'm trying to say. It's an absolute mockery on the whole goddamn thing. I mean, when I was in Sudbury, oh mate, the things that I saw in there, mate, it was a joke. It was an absolute joke. But anyway, that's the side of that. But what I'm saying is, like, yeah, it's it's time, because I mean, all those places are just making money. You wouldn't believe how much money they're taking out of your trust while they're putting you in there. That's all it is. It's just a money making. I mean, I don't know how many. It's about, I forget. I mean, what was Carol Woods at the time? I don't know if you remember that, Leona. When Carol Woods, I think we found out at the time when they had Carol Woods in there, I think it was £600 a day or a week. And I think it was £600 a day.
Yeah, something like that.
£600 a day. So when they grab people, you remember this is the encouragement for these other people to carry it through. They took her on a piece of paper, proven, court stated that it was never created in the court. This was Lancaster County Council using the CPS to get this piece of paper to give one of their thug police, Lancaster Police, it's all the pyramid of triangle, yeah? Pyramid of terror, to go and take Carol Woods and dump her into this hospital. Once they got in that hospital, they put a section 2, then a section 3 on her, so they didn't have to look at the section 135 because it didn't exist. And they kept it because they were getting £600 a day. Yeah. So you don't want to know. You understand how much money they make from these. This is why crime pays. I proved crime pays. You know. Now I want to see crime pay again, because all those people that have done the crime to you people out there making false allegations of a court case and without a case, I think you should all be paid out, because the crime should pay. Those that have done the crime should be paying all you people that they've abused, inclusive of me. But I mean, I'm not interested for the money, but it needs to end. And when they start paying and they start paying out, then it'll end. And when people start claiming off their bonds and their insurances, they'll become unbondable and they'll never be able to work again. That's the way. That's another way of doing it. Unless the military, unless the Navy's going to actually stand up and go and do something for once, do something for the right and protect the people.
I think I'm gonna differ slightly. I don't see it that way, in the sense that because the system is creaking at the seam, I honestly can't see it happen that way. I mean, I'm just looking at once the legal system's gone, and it's gone, I just don't see what else they're gonna do. You can't mend it. You can't. In fact, I don't even think they can even think to build it. Now, you remember last year?
No, I think the laws.
Can I just say one thing quickly? You can't fix it.
You can't.
Because it's already fixed. It's already fixed to be a rigged system, so it can't be fixed. We need a whole new system.
No. If people understood, because it's all about corporate, isn't it? It's all about the corporation.
Yeah, so, but that's what I mean. The system they have.
Yeah, but none of those things bother us. The thing is, right? Yeah, look, there is no law. No law's been established yet. We don't have anybody to enforce law. All we've got is people to enforce the commerce, which is the corporation. Yeah, but we're not corporation. We're men and women. We have a corporation, but we need to separate the two. Once we've done that, then we know that none of that nonsense bothering us. Yeah. The point is though, but now we need law establishing, and we need people to enforce it, either people or the servants. So when the people stand up and make those public servants that are being paid to perform a duty, when they make them stand up and perform that duty, then we're going to have it. That's when it's going to start being right, because they've pierced their corporate veil. They can't hide behind the veil because they've committed crimes. The crimes are now within the law, but the law isn't enforceable because we've got no one to enforce the law. That's the whole thing. That's why people talk about common law. What common law? There's no law. There's no law. They can do whatever they frigging well want, at the moment, because no one's enforcing law. So until the people stand up, then we're going to get it. When the people, so they're waiting. These servants they're going to do whatever they want until the people wake up and make them perform correctly, because it's our duty to hold them to account. We are the government. The people are the government.
Yeah, I'm having
these people that are governed to account.
I'm having difficulties understanding that. Not understanding it in terms of what you're saying. What I'm saying, I think, assuming they govern, we are the governed, and we give them the right as servants to act on our behalf. I just don't see how they're going to try and enforcing some of those laws that they've actually broken, so to speak, because it is the corporation. For them to do it, you have to get rid of a whole raft of things. And I think the legal system is where the problem lies. And I don't see how they can fix it, Andy. I think what Jason was saying, if I'm not mistaken, what you were saying, the system's already fixed. Is that what you're saying, Jason?
Yeah, the system is fixed to be a corrupt system.
I would say so.
It's not designed to be pure. It's
not
created to be corrupt, basically.
Listen, right.
So they fixed it their way.
I agree with you. I agree.
Let's put it this way, right? Yeah. Hang on then. When you're saying this, right? Yeah. We know that the system's got procedures and there's due process.
There's
So
procedure.
you're saying if the system's rigged and it's rigged, no, the system's not performing correctly because the people that are in it are fucking cheating. They're cheating, dirty scoundrels that are breaching procedures. That if they was to do procedures, then all you lot would have you'd have a case filed. So it's not the system; it's those that are in it. If justice was being shown to be done, then they would be operating correctly. But they're not operating correctly, and they don't have any law to say that they can't do that. They've just got the fact that they can tell you and wrap you around the finger and send you to their own citizens' advice bureaus and their own organisations that govern them that are all working in the same and pissing out the same pot. So the point is, yeah, we need a people's inquiry, and the people need to form and unite and start holding them accountable, because once the people do that, we can do it. That's it.
Well, sorry, Andy. There's a bit of a dichotomy there. So you're saying if the people start holding them accountable, which they should do, we then have an inquiry and they're held accountable to do the right thing. Is that what you're saying?
Anybody, listen, because they've all signed a contract,
Yes.
all of the Act, statutes, rules, regulations, public laws apply to them.
Yeah.
Right? They've already agreed to it. So the people stand up, yeah? And then when there's enough people to stand to become a force to reckon with, meaning when enough people can stand up and demand that the police perform their duties, which is what they're paid to do, and enforce the rule of law, because no man is above it, and therefore then it's going to start, then they'll do the internal cleaning. That's when it happens. Then everybody that's in there knows that they've gone in there, because I mean, let's face it, we know, right, yeah, there is bound to be, without a shadow of a doubt, a lot of people that joined the police force that went in there on an honourable basis of what they wanted to do. Yeah. So those people, those are the ones that will stand up and do it when the people make them. That's the point. The people aren't standing up and making them yet because they're all divided. And everyone's shouting about all this, but that's why I focused on the case management file with what Anthony was saying, because we have one point here, one singularity point that involves everybody, because you've all been for those people that have been taken to a court, that have had your children taken off, had your house taken off, all these things, it all comes down to one single point, and that is the case management file. And where's the claim? Therefore, there's been a procedure breach. So all those that operated in that were operated in fraud, and they've been proven to be the criminals that they are. And they now, because they signed to agree to be have those actions statute appointed to. So those laws, they need to now be followed. They've agreed to it. Let me just mute. Hang on, how do I mute?
Oh, just me, sorry.
Just mute yourself,
Yeah.
So what I'm saying, guys, I understand that. So I listen, it's not that I doubt what you're saying, and I would love that, but from what I can see and what I gather and what's unfolding to me by a daily basis, I don't think that's possible. Humanly possible. I think the UK system's gone.
On a country scale, yeah, but you've got to understand this. I'm not talking about one. I'm talking about smaller community. In other words, it's broken down where the community can keep their eye. You can't fit one shot fits all. The same with schools, right? Yeah, to show the hypocrisy in the school, right? There's 30 children in a classroom. Those 30 children are individuals. Those 30 children got individual abilities, and they've got their own uniqueness of what they would be good at. If they're in a school, which is not an instruction, which is an instruction, that's what a school is. if they're in, they shouldn't really be in a school, but if those schools were right there to develop their abilities, that would be one class, yeah, of 30 individuals doing what each individual wanted to do, not what one teacher's telling them to do, because that teacher's been trained by the same satanic scum that's doing it. So that's the point. Schools are evil. Schools are wrong places, because you can't teach 30 children. They've all got different abilities. Everyone's got their own uniqueness, you know, and that uniqueness should be focused on individually and built on and supported individually. You can't do all the same 30 people. So you've been tortured and terrorized because you want to be doing this, but you can't do that. It's stupid. You've got to do what we tell you to do. No. And if everyone did that, so when you've got your own communities, you've got your own communities. You've got your own people that, you know, who the community puts in there and you can trust, and who is open and transparent and you can go to. You can't get to these people. You try and report a crime, you go and try and get to talk to someone. No one's there. But you've got to have smaller places where you can go to. And that those people are now going to do it for you. You know? So that's the way I see it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I struggle when I speak to different officials in different capacity in terms of a bank manager. I know what they do. I confront a few of them in terms of what they, you just know what they do. And I'm thinking, I struggle when I speak to one of the local authority, the chief constable for our area. I know why he's in hiding next minute for his dead. I struggle when I speak to the CEO of I don't know, or legal person at the solicitor firm, a large firm who claim. I just think the system as we know, I just can't see what they can do.
Now let me add something to it.
Too far gone.
Now let me add something to what you just said. You just said the bank, the whatever, and all these other people.
All of them.
Right, yeah. Now let me add this piece to it. Any of those not adhering to the Nolan principles, yeah, is malfeasance in office. They'd be locked up.
Right.
Anybody working in a public office, in a public position, not adhering to the Nolan principles, would be malfeasance in office, and that's up to 100 years in prison. Yeah.
I see that.
Okay. And if the people, yeah, were as one, working in not as in one, as in one in unity, in the understanding that their servants are to adhere to the Nolan principles, and anybody not adhering to the Nolan principles, they would stand up and say, "Oi, he's locked up now. Here's the facts. Get him gone." Anybody working now with inside any public sector, yeah, are going to be governed by the people, and the people are no longer asleep at the wheel because they've stood up. And anybody seen, they would be removed straight away. It would become self-cleaning anyway, because you'd punish the rest of the people in there for allowing that man to be doing it. You know, and that's when you start getting, because like, you know, it's like a team. When someone's working as a team, you have someone letting your team down, yeah, the team cleans itself up. That's what would happen. But then eventually
let me tell you how I see it. I do understand that, and I think, yeah, anyone not standing by the Nolan principle in terms of accountability, trust, and honesty and accountability, I think they're gonna. But I think the system which has evolved, especially the legal system over the years. Now, I sold different insurance contract, pensions, whatever, for years. And I knew in the early 80s when they brought out the PPI, I know it was a fraud. And I never sold one. I said, you know, when you take out a loan with Barclays Bank for £10,000. Barclays said you've got to cover in case you lose your job. Now that's a lie. They always knew it's a lie because it was never to cover you. Yeah, it was to protect them. But my colleague sold them. I said, no, if that guy is ever out of his job, that contract will end after, for instance, 3 months, after a year. If you claim on it and you only claim for 3 months, after a year, because that contract is taken out for the term of the loan, which is say 5 years, you claimed on it within that 5 years, that contract ends automatically.
Yeah, but George,
yeah?
You know, when you
so what I'm saying, they always knew it was set up just like the legal system to con people.
Yeah. What I'm saying is you can't talk about a wrong when the whole thing's fucking wrong. Mortgages are wrong. Mortgages are deaf. That's the whole thing. It's a deaf.
They are.
It's crazy because anybody who had a mortgage gave themselves the money. You know, it's so you can't talk about things like You're talking about a wrong. How can you right a wrong by another wrong? It's all wrong. It's just not done. You know,
Well,
you know,
well, and
all these people, all those bank managers,
the PPI contract is not bad. It's how they set it up.
Anybody in a bank who said they lent you money, yeah, that's it. They've breached the Nolan principles.
Yeah,
That's malfeasance in office. Any bank manager who says they've lent you the money when you went in and signed that piece of paper, creating that promissory note that they paid you your own money out of your own account, they are malfeasance in office.
Yeah.
Right? Full stop. You're insured anyway because you're bonded.
Yes.
That was what that bond was in the first place. So that implied trust was to pay for everything you did on this world. So it's over and done with. You know? So when it's like I say, we make it complicated. It isn't complicated.
No, I don't think it is complicated.
The complication is because of what we've been doing all this time, getting involved with these things, paying mortgages when there was never, you know, the simplistic is, right, I go into the bank, I sign a mortgage deed. That mortgage deed then becomes a promissory note for the £100,000 that I want. I give the bank manager the £100,000 and he gives me back pieces of paper as promissory notes of my £100,000 which I've just given him. And then he asks me to pay back that £100,000 plus interest.
Yeah, I think, no, I'm not laughing because it's
ask them for the original copy.
And ask for the original. And do you know what they say now? What they said to James? Do you know what they said to him? They said they've torn the old ones up and digitalized them. So if you haven't got an original copy of the original, then there's nothing. Yes. And we know that. We also know that that's a lie. Again, under the Nolan principles, that's a lie because that fucking original document was sold. They sold it on again and made another 100,000. Do you know? So what I'm saying is it's absolutely crazy when we start to look at what's really been going on in this world. Oh, yeah. But when people see it for what it truly is, it's over. It's over. The only thing people need to do is stand up, because when you stand up, you'll see things better. You know, sitting from this position, I don't see much, but when I stand up, I see a lot more. And when you start standing up, you'll start seeing exactly what's been going on. You know, and don't let cognitive dissonance allow you to not wake up. Don't let, fear of being made to look a fool stop you from being a fool, because you're being a fool by not standing up and admitting, oh, okay, I got had over. You know, I've been an idiot, and all this time I've been using this as my identity, and it's not even me. You know, I mean, you're using a passport to show who's my identity. You know, what are you doing? Are you dead? Are you telling them you're dead? Because that name's dead. It's in all capitals, just like it is on your gravestones. You know, but
tell you what, Andy, when I used the agent of the name today, the universal credit, Christ, they didn't know what to do. Mm-hmm. You know, they asked me security questions and put them through the security questions, and they asked me for the name, and I says, I'm the agent of the name Frank McElherrin. And they're going, what do you mean the agent? I'm the agent of Frank McElherrin, just like you're the agent of the DWP.
That's it. And to be true, once you've instilled that into yourself, that's why that's what Jane's said about stand in front of the mirror and just practice it. Because once you become that, you become the agent. That means you are no longer the name. You can no longer get done for what the name is, and the name is the only thing that they can do. The name is the only thing that ever gets invited into those buildings that are pretending to be courts. You know? So if you're the agent, just like a lawyer, the lawyer doesn't get done, does he? When the name gets done, the lawyer's the agent for the name. That's it. That's it. That's the trick. And because of the long in the truth, because we've been so long in the tooth, doing the wrong thing, it's like a habit. A bad habit takes so long, and a good habit takes so long to rebuild back in. So just build the habit back into you as being the agent of the name rather than the name, and it's game over. You're now free. You've separated yourself. You've stood there now as the man. The man is the agent. The person is who the agent is who can now, the man can now give the person a voice, because the person doesn't have a voice. And if you stand up there as a person, you're saying you're dead. You're saying you're dead and you expect to be heard. How can you be heard when you're still lost and dead at sea, so to say, as they say? You know, you've stood up. You're back on the land. You're no longer lost at sea. You know, that's it. You know, yeah, that's it.
And Andy, we have a lot to do over the coming days, guys. Everyone in your knit group, listen. We have to double our efforts. That's the only way I see it. For us to make any dent or inroad. No, seriously, I just, Neil and a couple of others got some cases. We're going to highlight Margaret's one more. If Karen and Kelly wants me to go down to, I don't mind do a video of it. If she wants to, that's entirely down to her. I don't mind, because I'm willing to, if she's willing to, or just 2.5, 3 hours drive. I don't mind, because I think we're at a tipping point now, as far as I can see, because a lot's been open. I spoke to someone from Middlesbrough Court today and somebody from Newcastle, and it's the same thing. It's just you can't actually imagine. You can't imagine. I suppose that's someone like yourself who's in it, and Jason and a couple of other guys who's in it. You could, but it's lot more than we'll ever envisage.
Whether it's a parking ticket, whether it's a speeding fine, whether it's taking your house, whether it's taking your car, whether it's taking your job, it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. What's gonna make that? And that's the fraud of the court.
Everything's a lie. You know what? Everything's a lie. That's what my
everything's a lie.
Is.
Everything's a lie.
No, I mean everything. History, everything is a fucking lie.
And all we have to do is start standing up as the agent and stop asking them and start telling them. Yeah.
I'm just waiting for some dude coming off me a red or a blue pill. That's what I'm waiting for. Like in the film.
Me and John Patterson say, like, if only I had that tablet. If only I had that tablet that made you realise that actually you're the agent, not the person. Just in that aspect, if I only had that one tablet that made you see what's really going on, i.e., what you believe is money. It's only a belief. The only value in money is your confidence and belief that you give it. There's only the government. There's only a government because they thrive off your confident belief. You're giving them power. The votes from your votes. Who would vote a government in that is doing this to their own people? Stockholm syndrome, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
When you look at it, it's so simple. They're just lying. I mean, if 4 of us all got uniforms and a police car and we drove around with the lights on, people would pull over for us.
Well, yeah, it's just
it's just a deception. It's just all an illusion, just to make you believe. And when you don't believe in that illusion anymore, like James says, tell them to fuck off.
James has also just said as well, start saying I love you and start saying I forgive you. Because because it's about me. Remember when I used to have all the trolls that used to attack me, right? Yeah. I used to say, don't worry about me. I've already forgiven you. It's you that's got to, forgive yourself for what you've said. In fact, actually, I'm doing a video probably tomorrow night, actually, with another lady.
I think, when you be polite, when you're kind to them, and you're not they don't know how to take it, because it's like they, especially with these social workers, because I've dealt with a lot of them, it's like they get off on your pain. And when it doesn't affect you anymore, all they can do is hang the phone up on you, because they're not getting their enjoyment or whatever they get out of it.
No, you don't read too much into it because you can't read somebody else's mind. The point is,
So I know them people I've dealt with, the fucking liars.
Certain ones, obviously, because they know what they've done. But to get them on the same page, meaning so that they understand exactly what they're saying. Getting someone on the same page. Remember, these police, all these people, they haven't got a mind of their own. They're doing what they're told. So you have to get to them to get into their moral compass to make them hear you. They've got to hear you. They've got to hear, like I say, we ooze the vibration of the truth. The truth frequency resonates with everybody. So when they hear that, that's when you're going to start. If there's any moral compass within inside them, and there is some, because they wouldn't jump in front of that bus or jump off the bridge when they was told to. So you know there's something in there. So it's just catching them, capturing their people. It's all about love. Yeah, it is all about love, to be truthful. Because like I say, I mean, these people, yeah, you imagine that's all they see is hate. And like another thing, yeah, this is another point, yeah, when police come, because people are scared of the police, yeah, when the police come up to you, they're seeing you scared of them. So you imagine you walk up to somebody and they're scared of you. You automatically think they're up to something. So you've automatically, because of your fear, you've cast a doubt in their heads because you were scared of them. Why were you scared? You must be up to something. So we have to be aware of our actions create what is. Fear brings what you're scared of onto you.
Yeah,
So that's why I say lose the fear.
That's
Because if you stand with the conviction, mate, they don't mess. You know, so you say like, well, yeah, I said that and it didn't work. Well, this is what I'm trying to say. It's not what you say, it's how you're saying it. Because when I say it, they go away. Well, they do what they do what they're told. But if somebody else says it, they just walk all over them. And that's what I'm trying to say. It's, if you've showed that fear, then they're going to think you're up to something, and they're not going to pay attention to you. It's about respect, isn't it? Because you have to, that's that thing as well. It's a healthy respect. There's a healthy respect. I respect them, they respect me. If they abuse my respect, I'll let them know, and vice versa. I wouldn't abuse their respect. So they don't have to disrespect me. If I've shouted at them, it's because they've been disrespectful. Because I've had to shout.
It's like what happened with me, Andy, yesterday when I rang up company's house just to try to put my own company dormant. And then out of the blue, I just thought to myself, excuse me, love, you couldn't be able to find out who the director of this company is for me, please. So, and I swear to God, this woman went over backwards. And she found that one guy is a director of 76 different companies. And I turned around and said to her, does that not look like there's fraud going on there? And she's like, yeah, it does. Now, seriously, love, I don't want to do anything wrong here, but do you see that the fraud's there now? Oh, I see it. Yeah, I see it. So conversation goes on, and beautiful, beautiful conversation. And I told her what a lovely woman she was. Thank you. You've gone above the board, and thank you for everything what you've done. Now, do I need to go and ring companies, or what was it, Dun and Bradstreet now, so I can get a number from them, because it looks like Companies House are committing fraud here, and you're letting it happen, and you can hear her going flustered in her mouth. And then I just turned around and said, what's it like to work for a company that you're, what's it like to work for a company that are committing fraud and you're complicit in it? You can hear her going silent. She just went silent. And then she said, right, we'll finish this conversation now. But yeah, it's about being polite with a person, getting across, and they'll see you, they'll feel what you're saying, and they'll flow with it.
It's hard because, especially for the people that that have had their children so often, and had your houses, it's hard to go in there and love these people. I remember when I was also in prison, like, there was a book, and just for this point, and it's relevant to what we were just talking about. Now, when I was in there, I saw a lot of people get beat the fuck out of, right? But I never got it, and I remember it saying, like, when you not to say it out loud, don't even have to say it out loud, just say it inside, that you love everyone, that you love everyone, and the aura that you're going to give off is going to be a difference. So then I see other people walking around and they're angry and everything, like, they're not actually out there to cause trouble, but they're angry. Boom! The next minute they're getting kicked the crap out of, like, because they brought it onto themselves. Again, that's the same thing, So it's all with the same thing, like, So if you use love, like, you're going to get a different response. And until you do it, you won't know it. So you can't dispute it, because I know it does work, So it definitely works, mate. Love is all you need, like, that's the whole point. It's love will save the day. Because even it's a mathematical equation, like, because regardless, no matter what, like, they say love won't work. Well, if it didn't work, then just add a bit more. It only lacked it. Because the more love you put in, love's going to always win. Love's supreme, right? Anyway, guys, I think we've.
What if they hate won't win? Okay, guys, it's been good. It's been good. Listen, well,
You won't remove hate with
A
hate.
bit of good news has just come in here from Ireland. Somebody sent it to you as well, Andy.
Yeah.
The Irish Education Alliance calls on the Department of Health to cease the COVID-19 vaccination rollout for children and the young people with immediate effect.
That is good news.
They're all going to start going in soon, yeah.
Is that the south? Is that the south?
Yeah, is that so? What part? Is that north?
Yeah, that would be the Republic of Ireland.
Republic.
Ireland.
Yeah.
Ireland. And remember, Ireland's contract's finished now as well. You know?
When did that end, by the way?
That contract finished in 2021.
When in 2021? Because I
December.
Pardon?
When was
January.
it?
I'm nearly sure it was January 2021, because what it was, they had a 99-year lease on Northern Ireland. Then it plays out for a year, and then it needs to be re-signed. If it's not re-signed, then the north of Ireland is handed back to the Republic, and that should have happened last year, and it still hasn't happened.
So basically, sorry, just let me get this right. So the 99-year was a lease for the UK government.
Yes.
On Northern Ireland.
Yes.
Run out. Okay. Sorry, I get it now.
Yeah. So the lease run out for England. So England, the UK needed to. The Republic and the United Kingdom needed to come together for an agreement for another 99 years of land lease. It's like a land lease.
Yes.
So their lease is up now. It's been over a year now. So the north of Ireland should have been Republic last year.
Well, they're not going to sign it, Frank, because from what I gather, all the 13 MPs in the north have resigned. They've resigned, not resigned their seat, but they're not going to sign the Northern Ireland Protocol. So they're not going to sign it while this impasse is happening.
No, they're not. No, I've actually a friend of mine. He's an old next door neighbour of mine in Northern Ireland, and he's actually standing now to go to Stormont as an independent. And that guy, he's a friend of mine on Facebook as well, but he can't come out right in front of everybody. You know, he's there, but he knows what's going on, and he's there to try to clean it up as well. He's a Newry man, which is a very large, well, it's become a large city in Northern Ireland now. North of Ireland, not Northern Ireland, north of Ireland.
So they haven't agreed to the border?
No, the border's not. It's the same as going on in the Ukraine and Russia.
I know.
The borders in Russia were supposed to be drawn up in, I think it was 1999. The borders were supposed to be signed up, and they weren't. So Russia, they're saying that Russia's what is it? They're going into the Ukraine, but they're not. They're not trying to go into the Ukraine. They're going into Russia. Ukraine is already Russia.
No, I think people are misunderstanding, because part of what they're talking about started in 2014, and that's when it escalated. So I think people are being given misinformation. It's not the war; it's Russian ethnic Russians in those regions. So I think it's confusion. But then that's everything, like everything else.
Well, I mean, if you think about what's going down, they're all caught out now. Everyone's waking up, and everyone's standing up.
The contract actually ended on. Yeah, the contract ended on the 3rd of December.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so it was. Anyway, what they need is a war to reset. They need a world war to reset. We're in the world war, and your enemies are those what people believe are a government. That's it. The war is on the person. The war is on the person. That's why they're killing.
Yeah.
The person was what was enforced to have the injection. They want to find. They need to find the person with the man. So you can't say that you're not the person. You know, that's what it was all about. They can't make people work on a man. That would be slavery. Yeah.
It's just like just like mining for Bitcoin.
I mean, they want the trust. They want the trust back. Anyway, guys,
that's what I mean.
Listen, it's been brilliant. Good. We'll see you guys, God willing, all on Tuesday. Hopefully, I love you all. You take care, Andy.
Yeah.
Take care, Marcel.
Jason. Yes, I will do it. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
See you, Jason.
Bye-bye.
See you, Frank. Bye-bye now.
God
Take
bless.
care, audience. Bye-bye now.
Now, bye-bye.
No, no.